And we are live with the Godfather himself, Rollo fucking Tomassi, baby!
Author of the Rational Meal.
Author of the Rational Meal series, guys. Book 1 through 4. Let's get into it, baby.
Let's go.
And we are back, guys. What's up, man? Welcome to this special Saturday episode with Rollo Tomassi himself, man. Quick announcements, guys, before we get into the show. We got a good one for you guys. We're going to cover a couple things. We're going to cover chick crack, female statistics, genuine burning desire, and emotionalism versus stoicism. And we say chick crack, we're going to talk about signs, tarot cards, vibes, all this other stuff.
I'm a Pisces.
Yes, we're going to break that down for y'all. Why women rely on that so much. But quick announcement, guys. Patreon.com/FreshFit. All the content that you guys missed from last week that, you know, when we were banned is going to be on there. And, you know, sorry, guys, that we had those issues, but we got it fixed with YouTube. We got a guy over there now. So it was actually a blessing in disguise. So thank you, haters, for reporting that video because we made a great relationship with one of our guys. Shout out to Abe Santos, good friend of ours now, man. He helped us out. And yeah, basically, guys, we shouldn't have gotten that strike, but we got it because of some haters. Reported the channel. And then also, guys, check us out on Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcasts. Every single platform you listen to podcasts, we are there. Chris uploading pretty frequently right now. He uploads 3 to 5 times a week during the weekdays. Then also get the merch, FreshandFitPodcast.com. Also, check out our other YouTube channel, guys, Fresh and Fit Clips, where we post 2 clips per day on there. And then we also post 1 clip here per day. So check us out over there. And then, Fresh, you just got done doing a vlog, right?
Yes. So we did a vlog for a time when Rollo was in town with Aaron Clary as well. And I did a live stream with Lena girl from the show. It was insane, man. So check it out, guys. On the vlog channel, Freshman CEO.
A live stream, Fresh?
Shut up. Shut up, Chris. Nigga, no OnlyFans.
Afterwards?
I don't know why people want me to do OnlyFans, bro. I don't know why. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's what they want, man.
I'm not Tommy. So
you don't have to do sex on OnlyFans. I think maybe we need to clarify things. There are other creators.
They want him to smash.
but they want me to do it.
Because this nigga always talking about how many hours he be smashing and stuff. So they're like, oh, really? Oh, I'd like to see. Okay, and then Chris, what about you?
Follow me on Twitch, guys. Aaron's Poxon on my Twitch. Today I will be live streaming. Let's get it. Gaming. We out here. And follow my YouTube channel. I'm going to upload my first video this weekend. So tune in for that. And ladies, if you want to come on to a show, I don't think any ladies watching this stream, is it? So, well.
Probably like 5.
Yeah, probably 5.
Probably
all right, well, DM me and Aaron C. Poxon and IJ anyways. Let's get it.
Let's go.
And then, yeah, guys, go ahead and check out my other YouTube channel, Fed It, where I break down criminal cases for y'all. I think tomorrow I'm going to do Epstein. I will confirm, but definitely got an episode for you guys planned for tomorrow, and we're back to releasing clips on there as well. So check it out if you guys want to, you know, get some crime drama. Well, not really crime drama because it's all fact, but if you guys want to get a little bit of a taste on that side. But we got a special guest in the house. As you guys know, he's been here a million times, returning guest. Yep. Rollo fucking Tomassi, the author of the Rational Meal series, man. A good friend of ours.
Yes.
It's always a pleasure to have you, Rollo.
I'm glad to be back.
Welcome back to Miami.
Pretty much lives in the studio with us as well.
Yeah,
like, I mean,
these guys are trying to talk me into getting an apartment here.
Between PBD and Fresh and Fit.
You know it's bad when it's like they just let him up. Like he just shows up. I'll look up like, oh, Rollo's here. Okay.
The white guy with long hair.
I'm the only white guy they let up. Like, okay, go ahead.
And it's funny because like he'll come up and everyone's like, whoa, who's this rock star guy that's here? Like,
what does he do? What band is he in?
I know. The girls here was last night that like because some of them like were carryovers from like Tuesday. They're like, "Hi, Rollo." I'm like,
"Wait, are you here again?"
Who is this? Yeah. Shea Butter, you're my girl.
but Rollo, tell us so what's new with you, man? What's going on with you?
What's new with me? Oh, okay. The podcast is doing very well. I think I'm at about 157,000 right now, so I'm not doing too bad I just finished up 2 shows, actually. One was unexpected. I just did the Patrick Bet David show on Tuesday of just this last week here.
Yes.
That was kind of a big deal.
I'm going to go back and watch those,
Kind of a big deal.
No, that was a big deal.
Because we had our YouTube down, so that we had to deal with that BS. But I'm going to go back and watch both of those.
And we made some connections.
Anytime anyone in this space can go on a platform that's not used to our content is a big win.
Valuetainment, guys, one of the biggest entrepreneurship channels on YouTube, probably if not the biggest.
Yes. So Patrick Bet David, he is stationed in Fort Lauderdale now. He relocated from California to Florida. Imagine that. Yes. And then also, I'll tell you what's funny is like people kept telling me that I was not going to get along with Adam. Adam Sosnick is his co-host, and they said, "Oh, Adam's very blue pill. He'll probably fight you a lot on there." And Adam ended up being like the coolest dude on the show.
Adam is aware. I will just say that.
Adam Sosnick, and so he invited me to go back on the show, on his personal show, on Thursday, and I went on there with Victoria Larson, who is the Victoria Larson from The Bachelor I think it was last season, and she was the quote unquote queen, or she's very notorious. I'm not my daughter knew exactly who she was. I didn't know who Victoria Larson was, and so I had to have my daughter explain to me who she was. And I'm like, oh, okay. And when I got onto the show, I was a little bit better prepared for that. The other lady that was on there, her name is Dr. Rebecca Nicholson, and if you saw that show, she is very kind of woo-woo magical thinking, like tantric Veda, astrology kind of stuff. That's kind of what I wanted to.
Which we're going to talk about that.
Well, it's funny is I was gonna you guys asked me to stay an extra day, so I did. But I was going to do my show tomorrow, which is usually on Sundays at 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern.
Go subscribe to the channel, guys. The Rational.
We should bring him his channel.
Yeah. Let's pull it up real quick, Chris, please.
I had plans to do a chick crack show. I've done chick crack in the past, and I'll explain to you what chick crack is. But this sort of inspired me because I was talking about chick crack on my Instagram feed and my Twitter feed and in the comments and everything, and people go, "What the hell's chick crack?" And so now I go, "Oh, okay, now we've come full circle. I'm going to have to do another podcast about this." And so, but it was really that whole conversation was really an example of sort of rational thinking, empiricism versus emotionalism, and both the girls are in different states or different stages of life. And yes, by the way, I do know that Rebecca was quite a bit older than her mid-30s. Thank you very much. People trying to correct me. Oh, that girl was like 50. I'm like, I know, I was being nice, okay? As nice as I get, that's what I was doing. And then Victoria Larson is 29 years old, so she's smack dab in the epiphany phase, and nice as can be. I fell in love with Victoria Larson. I thought she was great. And hopefully maybe you guys can get her on here and have an interview. I gave you guys the contact
Chris, we got something going on with that, right?
Yeah. She sent me a DM.
Okay.
She would be a fantastic.
She wants to come on.
Should be a really good interview for you guys, especially considering like she's in her epiphany phase right now, and she's been through that kind of party years, the hoe phase, and now she's sort of moving into I want to find a guy who's a good stable provider and stuff. And
I was looking for more snow bunnies.
Go easy on her, but she's a sweet girl, but also very astrology this and are you a Libra that and
a flagrant thumbnail, hilarious.
Oh, thanks. I
that's his YouTube channel, guys. Please go subscribe. He also has the Rational clips too, guys. Because as you guys know, Rollo likes to talk. So if you need it in more short, he's like me and him both like to talk. So if you guys want the clips, check out the clips channel as well, man.
Everybody, content creators, like especially in the red pill space, but not just the red pill space. We go from you have shorts, which are like 59 seconds, and then you've got the clips, which are anywhere between 5 minutes and 12 minutes, and then you've got the 4-hour podcast for Rollo Tomassi. So it's like a little medium and large. So which I cater to whoever wants to.
Any single whatever content length you guys like,
you got it here.
You got it, man.
Yeah.
Go subscribe to all the channels: Rational clips, and that was it. Just those 2 channels.
Just those 2. And so I'm on this show, and this was on Adam Sosnick's show. I believe it's Sauceonomics or something like that.
Economics.
Yeah, Valuetainment Economics. And he has a fairly newer show. I think he's still might be under 50,000 subs. Yeah. But he's definitely coming up. I mean, he's on with Patrick Bet David. So, I mean, there's like an umbrella of channels that are underneath that. Okay. And he has one of them. And it was actually, he and I had a really good dynamic together when we were talking. And so he has the gift of the gab, Donovan has the gift of the gab. Okay. Adam definitely has the gift of the gab. And so we're talking, and really good topics were kind of, sort of evolving. And I knew where I was going in that interview with Rebecca Nicholson. And once I started feeling out what she was about, I'm like, okay, now I know. Okay, here we go. And a lot of the conversation I had with her was really, and with Victoria as well, was really about this sort of emotional base for women versus sort of this empirical rational, the rational male, right, base. And I think that we're seeing more and more of this conflict happening right now. My sort of theme, I guess, or my direction for 2022 has been about, emotion versus reason, and, feels before reals. And it's not just in an intersexual dynamics perspective. It's everywhere right now. So it's in our politics, it's in our religion, it's in our personal relationships, it's in our schools for sure. And so this was a really good, I think, example of holding frame from a rational, empirical, standpoint. And the only thing that like the girls had to really come back with is emotion, or it's magical thinking, like astrology. And what's your sign? I bet you're a fire sign. I bet you're an Aries. I bet you're a Gemini, or whatever it is. And I'm like, and people meme this already. Thank you very much, because like when they started talking astrology, I'm like,
shout out to Reddit. We're a little pass out.
Yes, I was about to pass out, and like now it's like this very popular meme when it comes to like talking about astrology, and so I'm talking with the girls, and when that comes up, I kind of like tune out a little bit, because I know where I'm going to go. As soon as they're done talking about it, I'm like, yeah, that's bullshit. And let me explain to you why that is. And I think we kind of get carried away with trying to find sort of magical emotional answers as sort of counter arguments to empirical data sets, which is what I usually come with. And when I'm on a show like that, when I went on with Elijah Schaefer on You Are Here, and I sort of got into it with Ariella Scarella, I forget what her last name, how to pronounce her last name, but it was really emotion versus reason at that point. And I think a lot of guys really need to, I think one thing, if you're going to be red pill aware, it's one thing to put on your red pill lens and like listen to music or like watch a movie or read a book, and you can sort of, with a red pill lens on, you kind of go, oh, okay, I see the dynamics. I see, it's like, what is when the Roddy Piper movie, what is it? They Are Here or something like that. I forget the name of it, but you put the lenses on and you see, Obey and all that other stuff. But They Live, that's what it was. They Live.
I'm used to The Matrix.
Yeah, The Matrix.
I can't watch movies the same way now.
I can't either.
Like when I watch, especially when I see like these remakes of superhero movies, etc., or these Netflix series, dude, it is such a social justice warrior.
Lord
agenda.
of the Rings, the
It's
new
outrageous.
one from Amazon Prime is just an abortion waiting to happen, man.
Oh damn!
Yeah,
I like that movie, Lord of the Rings.
Well, yeah, but the Lord of the Rings, Peter Jackson, that's fine. Amazon Prime is doing a new like series. I think they're trying to cash in on the Game of Thrones vibe, but it's just if Lord of the Rings is very particular as far as like the story and the background and everything else, and they're just gonna butcher it.
Yeah, go woke, grow broke, baby. Like they're messing everything up with the when it comes to the Marvel and the DC adaptations, and putting female superheroes to making them just have this power. It's just it does not. And you've talked about this on your podcast before.
It's happened so often now that it's cliche.
And not only that, no one. I'm just gonna say it, but whatever. People are gonna get mad. No one gives a fuck about the female. Like women don't go through adversity like men do. Like, so it doesn't make for an interesting movie. This is why female superheroes, female stars, that are the center of the movie, no one cares, because women don't go through adversity and have to build themselves
Hero's
up.
journey is a male journey. That's
Exactly.
Why. Men
It's a
must
masculine
be. Oh
journey.
man, and I'm glad you brought that up,
Yeah,
because
go ahead.
during that interview, I said this. I said, what was it? Men must become, and women just are.
Yeah.
And I said that also on the PBD podcast. And Dr. Rebecca was just like, I find that so vile.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I'm sure you do. But sometimes the truth is not marketable. Sometimes the truth is
part of the process. Look, your famous movies, the best of all time, right? Guess what? They had a guy that wasn't the best in shape or the best, to be the man, but he worked his way up.
Yep.
Either in the gym, through hardness and hardship, and he became the hero everyone wanted him to be. But a woman, bro, it's not the same thing, bro.
Obviously, there's exceptions. There are going to be movies out there that have a female lead role that are great. This isn't us just bashing female actresses saying, "Oh, y'all are useless." But what I am saying is that the best movies,
it's a storytelling.
90% of them,
the storytelling is completely different. Yeah. Well, what they try to do is they try to force fit a strong female, kick-ass, Tomb Raider. They try to fit her into that role, right? And it doesn't work because what women, like female writers or men with a female perspective, or think, oh well, this is what people want these days. They want a strong female lead right now. They want her to be able to be a Jedi automatically, or they want her to be able to kick ass and take names. She's like Black Widow. She can she had this training a long time ago, but we're not going to show you any of that because she can just kick these guys' ass right now, right? And what happens is when we try to make female characters into male heroes,
yes.
Women don't understand the hero's journey. They don't understand that men must become. They don't understand that there is a background and a build-up to build that character up. Instead, it's like, okay, well, that's how you get the Mary Sue character, right? She just is. Rey just knows how to use a lightsaber, right? Magically and just through the power of the Force or some shit like that. And what that does is first of all, it ruins the franchise, but it also ruins the storytelling because you're trying to force fit. Like, women don't understand men's struggles. Like Rich Cooper always talks about, women don't care about men's struggles. Finish line, and they bang the by later. But that struggles part of it. They don't care about the struggles. That's part of the hero's journey.
Yep.
And so they're looking for that turn. They're looking for the benefits of the guy who is the hero, but now they want to be the hero themselves. So they don't say, well, you just became a World Series winning, or you got a Super Bowl ring just because you just suddenly showed up at the Super Bowl. They didn't see all the stuff that happened before you got to the Super Bowl, but that doesn't matter because it seems to women that that's where guys just are. They only see them at the apex. When we talk about the apex fallacy, they're only looking at the top guy that looks the biggest and the baddest.
So fucking
You've had that conversation with so many of the girls on
How many times have we been on a panel and a woman almost always describes, well, men cheat, men do this, blah, blah, blah. They just run around and do this. And they're always describing the top 1 or 2% of men.
So when they're doing storytelling and they want to make a female superhero, she is the female version of that apex fallacy. She's the female version of the CEO that's at the top of the pyramid. And that's where they start the story. And it's boring as hell. Because there's no buildup, there's no plot development. It's all character.
Captain Marvel was like that.
It's character development versus plot development.
Wait, I'm not gonna lie. Sorry, guys. Internet is kind of buffering. I'm not sure what's going on. My end is fine, but the chat is complaining.
Okay.
Is it
put
laggy?
a 1 in the chat if it's fine. Put a 2 if the chat is lagging.
It's fine on my end.
Yeah, fine on my end. I don't know.
Yeah, it might be depending on who they're watching through. Yeah. And we're gonna move this over to YouTube only anyway soon. I noticed that sometimes happens. But sorry, Rollo, you were saying.
No, I was just gonna say is that I think that what we've done really since the sexual revolution.
Right, we have one, so it's fine.
Okay, so progressively we've built up the strong independent woman narrative into the superhero, it's what I call the warrior princess dynamic. It's G.I. Jane. She just knows how to use a gun, right? She just Captain Marvel doesn't matter. She just gets the power of Marvel, and she goes and you can punch a hole, stomp a muddy hole through Thanos because she's just the power of vajayjay, man.
Yeah.
When I see a female God of War character, it's a wrap.
Yeah.
Or a gladiator.
It's like
it's a wrap.
So I'll read these chats real quick, and then you want to hit Chick Crack?
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay. So we covered superheroes right there. Do a quick little thing for y'all. But no, guys, go check out those interviews that he did. I'm gonna check them out myself. This week was tough for us. But we're back on YouTube, so now I can go watch it.
And they're not 4-hour shows. They're only 2-hour shows.
There you go. You're back. Can y'all please do an Act vs. Rollo debate tonight? No. Guys, we're like, it's all good. It's not really that serious, guys.
It's not.
Sir Mr. Jason, $5. The Godfather, the Legend, the King. Yep, got you. Thank you so much. Amari was just rewatching both of the No Jumper interviews y'all did. Shout out to Adam and AD for knowing how to actually interview and have a good convo. Yeah, no, every time we go over there, guys, it's a great conversation. Shout out to them. We'll probably go back on next time we go to LA. We'll go over there and do it again. Shout out to Adam because Adam put us in touch with Abe. So yeah, keep chilling. Let's go. $5. Thank you so much.
Let's go.
Keep chilling again. I just want to know if I wear F&F merch, I won't get jumped in the streets by some women, huh? You probably will, my friend.
You will.
Michael P.
No. Hey, Jack.
Okay.
That's why I don't have merch. They will kill you if you had mine on.
Hey, Jack, $10. I've been with my wife for 6 years, married for 4. When I first met her, she was 130. Since then, she has gained 70 pounds. How can I get my wife to be motivated to come to
buy
the
her
gym
a Peloton?
It
worked in the commercial.
Start talking to other women, bro. This is why I tell y'all, you guys always say it like, oh my God, that's so toxic, blah, blah, blah. Women get in line when they know you have other women in line, bro. There's no stronger motivator for a woman to self-improve than either being single or having to compete with other women. Well,
imagination is the strongest tool in your toolbox.
Bam.
Even if she has to assume it, let her assume.
Yep. Monarchist 1. I asked yesterday a good response for the basic questions like, why are you single? And a persistent open-up question and why looking that all girls are showing off their bodies on Instagram way more. Yeah, I mean that's just the marketplace we're in, my friends. Elijah Bryant, which we broke that down with Donovan, why women do the behaviors that they do when it comes to sexualizing themselves. Elijah Bryant, $2 free R. Kelly. Okay, I gotta do that case too. Trill XO, guys, love you. Rollo, your hat inspired generations, bruh. Bring Joe Lampton to your podcast. He has a Romanian PIMP and Ramsey's Nemesis on Instagram. Okay, Tommy and Donovan last night looked like Dudley boys. $2 to Shafro. Hey Rollo, the faces of PhD was pulling when you were giving her facts was hilarious, and that was $5 from KNEP. Fresh So Dark, MLK couldn't find him in his dream. $2 from the Shafro. Cool. Big Al, hope you guys bring Matt Walsh to the show after his appearance on Dr. Phil. And that's $5. And then Fresh, can you read that?
Got Sorlita Bass, 5 Canadian, says Rollo, the doctor lady, was so shocked. She was drinking water every minute. Looks like no one ever told her what she was hearing.
She was
funny to watch.
She loved me in the beginning, but she hated me at the end.
We were in the chat, me and Donovan Sharp, just chopping it up. You did pretty good, man.
Yeah.
We got Geek Anomaly. Shout out to him. He says here, $5. That girl thinks her nanny is a portal to the underworld. My bum is a portal to Mount Olympus. My bum summons the power of Zeus Thunder. Oh, okay.
Be nice.
The Shafro, $2 says, Rollo looks like he sells phone books and DVDs.
I actually used to make phone books.
Oh man. Alloys DMB 400 Rube. I got to figure out what country that is. Yesterday, YouTube recommended me interview with some psychologists who talked about relationship, could not watch it, only emotions, no studies. Fun to observe world all around to understand the mechanics. Thanks, Rollo. Absolutely, we got y'all. Jeremy H. In King Lear, Shakespeare wrote an entire monologue about fraudulent and stupid it is to believe in astrology. Yep, we're going to talk about that here in a second. You're back. What's Rollo's criticisms about Mikhail Peterson? Does Fresh and Fit agree? Also, Rollo versus Act debate would be lit. Please make it happen. Man, y'all really love drama, bro. No, we're not going to do that, guys. Trill XO, bring Joe Lampton and Ramsey's Nemesis to podcasts. Okay. The Shafro, message deleted. Probably says something reckless about Chris's hairline. Victor Z. Gilar, Rollo on Fresh and Fit is my version of the Super Bowl. Thank you so much. Lance Perry, do you suppose women taking men's jobs is sustainable? No, it is not.
No.
And then $10. $10, Myron's bastard son. Thank you. Yo, Pops, you bald, but I got this cool afro. Haha. When you coming by, Pops, and how am I supposed to get ahead in life with this big ass nose? By the way, tell Uncle Fresh I need to borrow his Lambo. Okay.
Nice. Shut
up. I ain't the pappy. And then last one, Chemo. That Rebecca lady was very jittery. She did the usual, try to discredit Rollo personal experience. Her jaw was low-key dropping with the facts.
Yep.
Yeah,
emotional response. Feels before reels is what that is.
And we're going to definitely talk about emotionalism versus, empirical stoicism. And yeah, guys, this is the thing. When it comes to, the content that we make over on this side, we got the truth behind us. So they can't win. It doesn't matter how many degrees they hold, etc. It's amazing how even the most educated woman is going to resort to feels when facts that are unflattering are brought to their attention about their own inadequacies. Because a lot of women, I've come to realize this, when we talk about, the epiphany phase or women getting older or them losing value over time, etc., they almost always put it on themselves and then respond from their own personal experience versus the reality. You know what I'm saying? If someone were to say, hey, Myron, you're Sudanese, bro, and you're going to have a higher likelihood of being checked at the airport, right? You fit a certain demographic of people. I'll just say, I won't say the word on the internet on here on YouTube, but you said you fit a certain stereotype. I would not sit there and be like, well, I'm different. I'll be like, you're right. There is probably a higher likelihood that I'll be checked because I'm a male, Muslim, come from a certain background, black, and also Arab at the same time, whatever it is. I wouldn't argue with it. I would be like, oh, but I know a guy that never gets checked. But that's what women do.
Well, but let me ask you this. Would you take off your shirt and run around naked so that you could draw attention to yourself, so that people would pay attention to you for the injustices of racial profiling? Would you do that? Would that be the first thing that came to your mind? No, but it is for women.
That's what women do.
And they always get naked.
They feel attacked when someone says some kind of statistic
Free
or
the
fact
nipple.
that makes them feel bad. If someone tells me, hey, black men are overrepresented in the prison system, I'm not going to say, well, I'm not in prison, I'm educated. No, I'm going to be like, you're absolutely right. I don't care about where I personally stand. That is an objective fact. And me being an exception to the rule is irrelevant for me to say, well, I'm not like that, but women always do that shit. Like, when you say an unflattering fact about women, they put it on themselves and then they respond from their own personal experience. It's ridiculous.
This is why I don't argue with some women, is because, let's be real here, right? Their beliefs are concrete in their mind. So if you challenge their beliefs, it's feel like you're attacking them personally. And at that point, they're going to respond emotionally, and you can't battle emotion with logic.
Right. Somebody sent me this. In fact, it was the first tweet I saw this morning. Somebody sent me this. I think it was an old clip from I think it was 2019, and it was a gaming podcast. It was like they play like Dungeons and Dragons or role playing game online. It's kind of like Critical Role. By the way, don't laugh at Critical Role. They made $10 million according to like Twitch or something like that. But so apparently during the middle of this whole gaming session, some like really kind of like, bookworm kind of girl is talking to the guy who's running the game. And the guy said something about like how women only want to get with the bad boys, and essentially a red pill kind of, kind of ham-fistedly kind of trying to explain, nice guys finish last is essentially something we've been talking about for forever. And then, of course, what happens is like he starts talking about this and saying, women always want to give the chads and the jocks and everything like that. And I think it might have had something to do with like the game he was running. But the girl, rather than acknowledging that, the first thing out of her mouth is, well, that's because, you're a nice guy and you're not attractive. And she completely turned the whole thing around on him and reframed the argument, not to debate the facts, but to turn it around and say, well, who hurt you? Or
of course,
what you don't measure up. So maybe if you measured up, then you wouldn't be even bringing these questions up in the first place. And that goes back to what you're saying about unflattering information.
Yeah.
Whenever anybody in this space says something that is unflattering to female nature or points out even just like data points, for instance, like the 80-20 rule or something like that. If you bring that up, women are like, well, yeah, but the only reason you're bringing that up is because you're an incel.
Yeah.
Because there's something wrong with you, because you should be disqualified from the sexual marketplace, because only people who are like, nice guys and incels and chumps and everything, those are the only guys that actually find that important. So why is that so important to you? And really what it is it's a silencing tactic. It's to make you feel like you shouldn't have brought that up, or it teaches guys who are within earshot or are reading it on social media not to do the same thing.
Yeah.
And guys, real quick, we're gonna read from this point forward. Chris, you want to make the call 20 or?
Yeah, 20 up.
Yeah, 20 and up, guys, because we got Rollo in the house. And we got a lot to cover.
Sure.
So we're gonna read only 20 and up. But as usual, guys, every single super chat that comes across is going to be shown on screen. Also, I'm gonna get another sliding camera. We love you guys. We're gonna up the production quality even more.
Black Lemur.
Shout out to Black Lemur as well. And like I told y'all before, we always invest right back in the studio. And then Studio B is going to be done very soon, guys. We had all the other. It's like every time I'm about to get to it and just finish it up, it's just some finishing touches. It's pretty much done. 95% done. Our YouTube gets taken down, or so we go viral or some shit like that, or we got to travel. So that we'll have the new camera setup going soon, and then Studio B will be done. We will continue to innovate while they imitate. So check us out over there, guys. So $20 will be read. Rollo, so do you want to hit the Chick Crack first?
Chick Crack. Yes, I love it.
All right, so first portion right here.
Okay,
How dare you?
So what is Chick Crack? Chick Crack is something that early PUAs pickup artists picked up. And it was very, very obvious at one point that if you talked about like Eastern philosophies, or if you talked about astrology, or you talked about tarot cards, or anything that's like sort of like superstitious or semi-religious, or sort of like off-brand religion, or maybe even on-brand religion,
signs, all that shit. What's your sign?
Astrology, especially like Myers-Briggs, like MBTI is a big deal. Anything that is in some way kind of woo-woo magical thinking always was something that women would default to. And so early pickup artists picked up on that, and they would use that in their routines, right? And I think it's funny that it's so obvious that those guys could pick it up, from the beginning. And it's something that I heard on that interview, of course, with Victoria Larson and Rebecca Nicholson. And the first thing out of their mouths is, well, you're definitely a Libra. You're definitely this. I'm like, that's another way, by the way, of silencing an empirical conversation. So if it's not who hurt you, if it's not you're an incel for having brought up that question, then it's like, oh well, you must be a Libra because I have you figured out, or you must be a Gemini because I've got you. Only a Gemini would do something like.
I'm a Libra, by the way.
And so what it does is it reframes the what's really going on is a debate. And what happens, I think, and I brought this up on one of my shows, is that when we have an emotional argument and an empirical argument, and by that I mean like reason, rationality, and data and facts, like that's empiricism, right? You're talking past each other. So I'm having like a debate on like, okay, what is true? How can we get to the point? Like, here's the unflattering truths about men's nature and women's nature, and what are we going to do about it? Because it's kind of screwing up how we're organizing society right now, how men and women interact with each other, how we're going to, meet each other in a club and get laid, but also how are we later hopefully going to form a family and have children, and how we're going to raise those children as a result of that. And really, since the sexual revolution, emotionalism has been sort of how we have organized society, and that is a very pro-female way of doing things. And so when I hear astrology, and it can come from guys too, by the way. Like, I'll hear guys who have sort of like a feminine sort of thinking profile, let's just say. So when it comes to like woo-woo magical thinking, I'm not saying that like guys are immune to it. I'm just saying that women are more prone to it because it is classically, it's been a covert form of power for women, because women are the vulnerable sex. Men are the protectors, men are the providers, men are the warriors, men are the hunters, women are the berry pickers, right? And they have more to lose in pregnancy and everything, nurture. They're the incubators of the next generation. So how does that affect women's psychology? How does that affect women organizing their, like the Sisterhood of Borealis? How does that affect their thinking going forward? And if they can't win an argument that is in an empirical framework, a context, they will always resort to who hurt you, astrology. Let's go read the tarot cards. Let's go get into occult. Whatever it is.
Pull out the Ouija board.
Yoga. Tantric magic.
Read your palms.
Read your palms.
Star signs, star readings.
Yeah. I notice UFOs aren't very popular with women, but I suppose there's probably some that are into it. But it's that because it's a covert form of power. Because if women can't compete with men in the physical, they try to compete with them in the metaphysical. And that's why I want to point this out, is that it's much easier for women to gaslight men than it is for men to gaslight women.
See, it's funny because, like, from my experience, especially with dating, I don't listen to what women say per se. I watch what they do. Because they'll say things to throw you off track and like make you, agree with them over time. But like, if you watch how they do actions or what they do, you can kind of read how they really feel. So, in my opinion, arguing with a woman, man, it's pointless.
Well, yeah, because you're not having the same conversation. You tend to, especially with the girls that are here, you tend to talk past each other because they think, for the most part, women want to figure out whether you're a good person or you're a bad person. That's the goal of the conversation in any emotional argument.
How do they feel?
It's always to figure out: are you thinking correctly? Are you right? Or are you wrong? Are you a sinner or are you a saint? For when we're looking at things from an empirical perspective, it's: is this true or is this not true? Is it objective? Can I test it? Can I hold it? Can I do something with this? How can I use this information to better my life? How can I leverage this? And it's not saying that that's, one is right or one is wrong, right? There's an ethical or a moral side of things that people want to figure out, and they tend to default to that. And they think that that's the object of the debate. Whereas for guys who are like empirical, rational males, right? It is about what is true and what is objectively true. And I even got into, if I had one disagreement with Patrick Bet David, he started out, like, of course, he said he was a Libra or something like that. I'm like, okay. And then he was also talking about like, I don't believe there's any one particular truth. I think we create our truth, and truth is relative. And all I could do. That's all I could do to go.
That goes against 100% what I.
Yeah. And I want to say there is no your truth. There is the truth, and your interpretation of that is however you're going to use that.
Yeah. The truth is objective. Your appreciation of the truth, however, is relative. Have here in the West in general, with woke societies, etc. They think the truth is relative, and worse yet, they think that everyone's truth is valid, which is not true.
And you can't do that. You can't organize a society that way.
Can't. Yeah. There are some people that, quite frankly, are just stupid, and there is no truth. That's just their interpretation of reality, and their interpretation is not valid because they're in a point in their life where they don't necessarily have the prerequisite experience to be an authority on said figure. For example, we bring these bimbos on, right? And we tell them a small percentage of men are having sex with the majority of the women. What? What are you talking about? That's not true. Ba-da-da-da-da. And then they go ahead and give their example, which again hits the apex fallacy because they only deal with a small percentage of men. So not only do they not know the truth, they aren't even in a position where they can accept and acknowledge the truth that we're telling them because they're not in a position where they can see it. And one thing I've learned about women is that if they can't see it, they won't believe it. Okay? Now, here's the other thing, too, I want to say, because I have a theory. I was taking some notes down as you were talking about
we
this.
talk some good shit.
Yeah, no, we do. We do. This is a high IQ conversation, baby. And this is why I love having you here, because you make me think. I have a theory on why women love chick crack so much.
Okay.
And chick crack, just to define it for you guys, we're talking about tarot cards, signs, basically all the female bimbo BS that they use to explain reality. All right?
Brazilian power crystals.
There you go, right? Tantra, magic, all this shit. Psychic, I'm going to go see a fortune teller.
Santeria.
Here it is.
Santeria.
The reason why women love the chick crack, these supernatural explanations for reality, is because women don't live and or operate in reality. Now, slow it down real quick. I just dissed you. I'm going to explain what I mean by that. Men, we have to live in a fact-based reality, right? We've talked about it a million times. If you're not getting girls, you can go back to the drawing board and see why. Okay, I don't approach enough women. Okay, I'm fat. I'm a loser. My tonality sucks. I'm awkward. I'm strange. I smell. I don't dress well. There's so many different things that you can go back and look to on the drawing board that you can improve and see why you are not getting
deductive
what you
reasoning.
want.
Yes,
exactly. So men are like, just like you say, Rollo, men are deductive problem solvers, right? Okay, I'm not getting laid. How do I get laid? Okay, must self-improve XYZ way in the gym, getting in shape, whatever it is, making my money, whatever. Men have to operate in a fact-based reality, because if you're not getting girls or you're not getting what you want as a man, reality smacks the fuck out of you and reminds you that you're inadequate. Women, however, do not get this reality check, which I'm going to say I think it's better that men get smacked by reality, because it forces us to adapt or die. You live with your mom, you're a bum, you don't have money, etc. You either self-improve or you die. You don't get what you want. You stay where you're at. Women don't get this benefit, though, because no matter how they behave, especially in 2022 and beyond, in the West in general, they always get what they want, regardless of how bitchy they are, regardless of how fat they are, regardless of how inadequate they are when it comes to courtship or being a woman, etc.
Smelly.
It's smelly, whatever. Women are always going to have a lifeline to have a man or have some kind of societal protection for their inadequacies. And as a matter of fact, I'll take it a step further. You got fat hoes like Lizzo running around saying it's okay to be fat. Love your curves. We got annoying, bitchy women saying be strong, be independent, chase your career. We have women that are PhDs, literally reaffirming, hey, go ahead and ride the CC longer. Go ahead, get your education, etc. All these things. We have all these modern day conventions to make women feel better about their poor decisions. And unfortunately, when you make a bad decision and reality doesn't negatively reinforce it for you, guess what happens? You no longer operate in reality. If I rob a bank, right? I'm a male bank robber and there's a female bank robber. I rob a bank. I know more than likely the FBI is going to come after me. I'm going to get arrested, etc. It's going to suck. I get caught. Damn it. I'm going to do the time. It is what it is. Woman bank robber, she might not know because she's never been arrested. She's never been told, hey, you can't rob a fucking bank. What are you doing, etc., etc. So she gets arrested. She's going to be like, hey, listen. Like, guy gets arrested, like, fuck, I fucked up, man. My getaway driver wasn't fast enough. My tools didn't work. It sucked. We're in jail now. You know what I'm saying? Next thing you know, FBI shows up at the fucking door. FBI, open up! You hold the L.
I need
but
that
women,
drop.
right? Same scenario.
FBI, open up!
Hey, man, listen, like, I know I got arrested, but the stars didn't align. I didn't manifest it, right? And they can't explain what the fuck happened because they have been operating in reality up until that point when they decided to rob the banks. So they have to come with some kind of supernatural explanation for why things happened. And here's another thing I want to say as well. Human nature in itself, we're inquisitive creatures.
Yes.
Inventions, modern technology.
We have the capacity for imagination.
Exactly. Modern medicine, etc. All of this was created by human beings that were curious. Let me find out about space. Are there UFOs, etc. Men have to use logic and reasoning and deductive problem solving to discover these things. Women, however, they use their imagination to explain their reality because they're not logically sound. This is why male inventors 90% of the time are men. This is why innovation comes from men. This is why engineers, mathematicians, etc. are all men, because we live in a fact-based reality where we must produce or else reality smacks us in the face and lets us know that we're inadequate. Women, however, don't have to do that. They explain their reality with imagination because they don't get smacked in the face by reality for their inadequacies. So humans, in general, need an explanation
general,
for why things
yes.
happen.
Yes.
Men use logic to figure it out. Women use imagination to figure it out. And the only difference between us of why we view the world that we do is because men get smacked by reality, women don't.
Well said.
It's okay. So it's gosh, I there's a lot to work with on that.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people are going to say, well, I know PhDs who are STEM field, scientists. So what about this woman here who's an astronaut or a rocket scientist? And I'm not saying that women can't be taught to think logically, can't be taught to be rational. It is simply just not their natural proclivity
Love
for
that. Love that.
You can, the bonehead example of this is like, young boys, when they come out of the womb, they can throw a rock better than a young girl can. That's why they say you throw like a girl, kind of thing. Boys will naturally want to throw that rock and put their shoulder into it. They're more accurate with it. They're more accurate with spatial tests, like their surroundings and knowing whether it's a 3D model imaging, like they can rotate an object better than women can. Yeah. Women, on the other hand, are better at communication. Nothing wrong with pointing those two things out. But if we say, oh, women are better at communication, it's like, oh, yes, women are. But if we say, oh, a boy can throw better naturally than a girl because he innately has that as part of his evolved firmware, we say, oh, that's sexist and it's all social conditioning. And if but it's not. Because you can teach a girl to be a good pitcher, a good little league pitcher. Okay. It's just not her natural proclivity. You can get past that innate sort of instinct. But for guys, those certain things come easier, and for women, certain things come easier. You can definitely teach men to get in touch with their emotions and be more emotional and be more expressive and be more feminine. That's what we've been talking about on this podcast for forever. Plus, we've been talking about it really since like the early 70s, how men have become soy boys and manginas and everything else. Yes, because what we've done is we've systematically taught those boys to prioritize their emotion before reason. That's why it's not their natural proclivity, but we teach generation after generation of boys to man down, to support women, become essentially, by order of degree, male feminists is what we taught them to be. Now, can you teach people to go against their innate instincts? Yes, we do it all the time. Martial arts, for example. Like, I don't want to put my face in front of somebody's fist, right? But if I know martial arts and I have that rational reason and I've taught myself what to do when somebody is getting hostile with me, then I am confident in that situation when I'm dealing with violence or whatever. I'm situationally aware. You can teach somebody to go against their gut instinct, right? But when we talk about it in terms of women, then we say, oh, well, you can teach a woman to be anything she wants to be, right? But if you talk about it with a guy, then men are just dogs, men are just pigs, men are just, they're simple children. But again, I think what you're going to see here, and probably I'm already looking at it in the chat here, is guys say, well, these are
swallow Tomassi.
Sorry.
Swallow
So I just got done with
Tomassi in the house.
I'm either too hot or too cold in the studio. But the natural innate proclivities of men are very well documented. I mean, men are more interested in things, women are more interested in people, right?
Rex.
Can you teach a man to be more interested in people? Yeah, you can. With the process of, like teaching and instruction, sure, the software can override the firmware, but that doesn't eliminate the innate firmware in the first place.
Yes.
And worse yet, when there is something crazy going on, crazy emergency system, you're always going to refer back to your firmware, baby.
To the natural state of
That's
things.
why we got, perfect example of this. How many times at this point we've had some crazy situation where someone tries to break in or some chick has a piece on the show.
Chicks run out the door.
Independent. I don't need no man.
Yeah, I can fight any man. As soon as some chaos ensues, oh shit! The women run. You know what I'm saying? Yo, they ran on the balcony. And we were literally talking about how women cannot fight men off and you need men for protection.
Before.
That episode.
Can't make this shit up.
The dummy breaks in.
Can't make
I
it
go
up.
grab my piece. We go deal with the situation. The girls do what? They run on the fucking balcony.
I know.
Because it reverts back.
They're looking for parachutes.
Yeah. They
Get
go
off the
back
balcony.
to their natural instinct. Oh shit, there's a man here. I can't fight him. Bam. Next thing you know, they're going back and being the women, and the guys, we got to step up and do something. We be the men. So it's amazing to me.
And
how,
more and more, I think and that's just one aspect of female nature. More and more, we are starting to understand the genetic influences of like behavior sets. For example, like I'm looking here. I brought this up because I need to be talking about this, but religiosity is associated with a more feminine intelligence profile in men. And so, I can read you the Science Direct
Yeah.
thing here, but it's many studies have found a small negative correlation between religiousness and intelligence measured by IQ tests, and many others have found that females are more religious than males. Still, other studies have demonstrated that the IQ profiles of females is different from that of males, with males tending to be higher than profiles different than that of males, with females tending to be higher than males in some abilities and lower in others. Imagine that. Wow, it might be an innate ability, right? This raises the intriguing question of whether religiousness may be correlated with a more stereotypical female intelligence profile. And then they go and talk about how that's the opening of the whole research test and everything. But what they found is that women tend to be more religious. They tend to have more spiritual. They tend to default to spiritualism.
Yeah.
Shamanism, spiritualism.
Just out to that point, what you both said is amazing, because think about this, right? If you're a woman and you're raised in a household by a father, right? You're taught principles and how to speak to people, how to interact with others, you know? But if you're not in that brought up in the household, what happens is like you'll kind of like make your own way of communication, and that can include as well signs, even random quotes from what you heard from society or from TV, and that becomes your norm. And as a result, most people that talk to women, that's what they hear all the time. Now, my thing is, as a guy, how do you combat that? You know, because it's considered manipulation. How do you combat that?
Yeah.
Good question.
You combat it with hard data. That's how you combat it. Like for instance,
Facts over feelings.
Once again, Rolf. By the way, people know who Rolf Dengen is if you're watching my show, but I've quoted him before. Men scored higher than women on emotional stability across countries, even more so in highly individualistic societies. Again, a Science Direct article. I can give you the links later on, but we use rigorous methodological and analytical techniques to shed light on the true nature of gender differences in personality using a large sample of personality scores from over 100 countries. That's not just generalization.
Yeah.
That's like the whole planet, man. So,
and not only that, think about this, Rollo. You went ahead and you were having a discussion and a conversation, debate, I guess, so to say, with a woman that has a PhD. But even her
in conflict management,
right, right,
which is funny because we were having a conflict. I figure you know how to manage it.
You know, it's like, and it's amazing because even someone that went to school, that's educated, that should be looking at things from a matter of fact perspective, when hit with matter of fact facts from someone, what does she do? Well, I'm gonna regress back to my emotional thing. Oh, that's not true. Or, oh, well, that's not my experience.
Well, you're not even having the same conversation with them because the goal of their debate is not what you presume is the mutual goal of like discussing and having a conversation. Yeah. When I talk about how we have to, like, what is it? The only way to test the strength of an idea is in the crucible of open debate. Now, if women are going to say who hurt you, that kills the debate.
It does.
Right?
Yeah.
That if I say you're an incel and you're disqualified from bringing this up anymore because it was unflattering to me, that kills the debate. And there's many, it's not just like cancel culture.
Yeah.
It's how we have the talk in the first place, because if we're talking past each other or we don't have a mutual goal for that debate, if it's, okay, I want to find out if you're a bad person and if you're right, if you're correct, then we're kind of talking in different lanes.
Literally,
here.
it's going like this. You know what I'm saying? Like they're driving this way, you're driving this way. They're not driving in the same path to try to figure out.
And I wanted to bring this up because this dude was emailing me and giving me grief about this the whole time. I'm sure you know who Vegan Gaines is. Do you know who Vegan Gaines is? He's the guy that called in on your haters show not too long ago, right? And you guys kind of dismissed him and blew him off, and rightly so, by the way.
Yeah.
So let me just like clarify there. But he was very upset that you guys had jumped to an ethical conclusion from rational, debate. And I was like, no, that's not what they did. They were actually trying to get to like and like find out what is true. That's really what the red pill is about. It's about objective truth.
Yeah.
But the presumption that it has to lead to an ethical answer, that's emotionalism. That is the feels before reals. It's presuming that the goal of the debate is what I want it to be, which is an ethical principle. That's not what you're talking about at all.
Yeah.
It's is it true or is it not true? It's not is it ethical or is it moral? I'm telling you what you should and what you ought to do, because that's what he's saying, is ought. He's trying to get into the classic is ought, argumentation. And I'm like, that's not what they're about. That's not what the red pill's about. It's not about about what you ought to do.
Yeah.
It's not, are you a good person or a bad person? It's not about a judgment call. It's, is it right or is it wrong?
And
is it true or
this
is
is
it
the
not?
issue, because when you have discussions, and you guys can see this beautifully on the Flagrant interview, we just say what is, and they're like, well, what should, what could, whatever.
What's the gray area?
You know what I'm saying? And it's I've always said it, man. Ethics, etc. That's fantastic. You got ethics.
I'm not saying it's not
things.
important.
It's important,
but that's not the conversation.
but human, human mating, right, and life in general, when it comes to reality, is amoral. Okay, ethics don't matter. Okay, because here's the uncomfortable reality: there's millions upon billions, probably, of starving children. We don't have enough clean water to go around, right, for everybody. We don't have enough food, etc. There's people that have the yachts and the people that have knots. It is what it is. You can only operate with what is, not with what should or what could be. And this is what social justice warriors do all the time. It's not fair. So let's argue that it's not fair and how we can make it fair. Hey, man, you ain't going to make it fair. Like that chick that came on the show, Miss I'm Progressive. Well, I'm good. I don't think that way because, I'm gonna change the world. But you're not willing to have uncomfortable conversations that challenge your worldview, because the reality is you think you're gonna change the world, but you're fucking not. Every SJW thinks that they're special and they're going to be able to change the world and change something that is. You ain't.
And you're seeing this clash, I think, of feels before reels in so many different arenas right now. People are drawing attention to the red pill because they're saying, "Oh, is the red pill going mainstream?" Yeah, maybe a little bit more than it has in the past, but what you're really calling attention to right now is this debate of feels before reels. So when I go and I see Matt Walsh on Dr. Phil debating the bearded lady guy, which if you've probably seen my show, I did a breakdown of that. That's not, is transgenderism right or wrong? It's not even so much, is it social constructionism versus blank slate, which it really is. It's, you made me feel bad by bringing this up. You made me feel bad by backing me into a corner to give you a definition of what is a woman. What's the definition? What's the concrete definition of a woman? If I'm saying that presupposes that there is a concrete definition of what a particular woman is, like is a female with female body parts, acts in such a way, give me a definition. And the bearded lady and his boyfriend could not answer that question because it's all couched in this subjectivity that only works for the feels and the emotional appeal of that side of the argument. They don't care to define. They even said, I can't give you a definition of what a woman is or not, because and Matt Walsh, if you're watching this, the moment that bearded lady gives you a definition, she's done.
Yep.
He's done. Because now it's gone from being this subjective emotional thing to being, here's the empirically what I think a woman is. Bam, now I got you. Now I can get you with data. Now I can break it down mathematically, and I can show you why you are 100% wrong.
SJWs, and that's a fantastic thing.
As long as it stays subjective, you'll never win the argument.
You'll never win it, man. And that's the thing with SJWs is it's always could, should, feel, etc. But they don't want to talk about what is. And if you take that same principle, a lot of SJW talking points about, because that's what Vegan Games was trying to say, like, well, why could you have sex with girls or whatever?
You're reaching an ethical conclusion with like empirical data. No, you're not. That's not what that wasn't.
Because he doesn't understand
the point of the argument.
When women come on here and they don't understand how I speak about men and women, it comes back to what me and you talk about all the time, Rollo. They believe in blank slate equalism. They believe that men and women are the same. What's good for women is also good for men, or as you say, what's good for the goose isn't always good for the gander.
No, we're different.
We're extremely different. And all of their arguments stem from this fallacy of blank slate equalism. Men and women are the same, and we are fucking not. If we were, we would not have a WNBA. We would not change the rules in the military to let women come in. Sexism wouldn't exist. The same, and SJWs complain and cry about sexism too, but they don't complain and cry about it when it benefits women. They don't cry and complain about it when it allows women to enter professional sports, when it allows women to get NCAA scholarships with Title IX. They don't complain about it when it benefits women. But they do complain about it when it doesn't benefit women, which 99% of the time when sexism does not benefit women, it has to do with sexuality, promiscuity, and sexual liberation. Because unfortunately, women, whether they want to accept it or not, hey, the more sex you have, the more there's a higher likelihood that it's going to fuck up your ability to get a husband, pair bond, and do what you're put on this earth to do, which is have children and be monogamous to some degree as a woman. So people don't like hearing that, though, because they think women can sport fuck like men and it won't affect them. Yes, it will, because men and women are not the same. And it amazes me how SJWs sit there and the left and the liberals, whatever, they love it when women get the benefit. Hey, treat her like a lovely lady, but at the same time, give her a career. Hey, treat her like, chivalry should be, men should be pay for dates and be chivalrous, etc. But at the same time, they want to say you're strong and independent. They want to pick and choose equality. And I'm here to say, you can't pick and choose equality. Reality is sexist. It is what it is. And just because you guys benefit from getting into clubs for free, you're also going to not benefit from the fact that men can have indiscriminate sex to a higher likelihood without fucking their mental up than women can.
Emotionality and reason are not yin and yang. That's what they. I think that there is this presumption of like karma, right? Like what goes around comes around. If there's people say this all the time, like Rollo, when's the pendulum going to swing back? It's not going to swing back. Facts. Because it's not this cycle. Okay, we go forward and we learn from the past for sure, but going forward we have to take what we know now. The data that we have right now, we have to use that so that we can go forward to a better future. Now, what happens is we have this presumption still to this day in 2022 where we think that if it's emotionalism versus reason, then it's going to like be a balance, or we have to keep those two things in balance. It's not a yin and a yang. They are both different ways of interpreting our reality. Instinct, emotion, and reason. Look up the triune mind theory. So you got instinct, which is, your instinctual, like fight or flight, hunger, sex drive, that kind of stuff. You have emotion and you have reason. Those are ways for us to interpret what our surroundings through our five senses. And it's not about one is better than the other. One has to balance out. You have to be in balance between the two of them. Follow your heart or, follow your head, right? Follow your heart or follow your head. It's not like either or. It's like they're, in some sort of like yin and yang. They're not yin and yang. It's which one are you going to prioritize to live your life? Which one are you going to prioritize to teach your children? Which are you going to prioritize to run a society? Which are you going to prioritize to vote? Which are you going to prioritize to even like organize a society in the first place? It's not yin and yang. They're interpretive processes. And we still, to this day, again, woo-woo magical thinking, like, the idea that there has to be what's good for the goose is good for the gander. Yeah. That's why women don't understand, like, well, how come I can't fuck as much as a guy can? That's because you think in terms of blank slate equalism, and that if it's yin and the yang. It is not. Men are different and you are different. And there's advantages for men and there's advantages for women, and there's disadvantages for each one of us too.
I think it comes down to programming, because if you think about it from the starting standpoint of men and women, right? They're told they can do whatever they want, and they can be men as well. But if, once again, a father is telling her, hey, this is what women do, this is what men do, she can kind of regurgitate and say, you know what? Okay, cool. I know from my family and from my base and who I trust and love, this is how the world works. Versus, hey, I go to school, I watch rap videos on Cardi B, Mike Thee Stallion. I hear people talking about my friends say, oh, this is right, that's wrong. So they're being brainwashed to say, you know what, this is how it should be. And as a result, they think life is how they see it, but it's not.
Real quick, I'll hit these chats. And then also, guys, do me so guys, come over to YouTube, because we're going to kill the stream on Twitch, Twitter, and Facebook.
Sorry, Twitch.
Yeah, we love y'all. But you guys know the goal is to hit 1 million on YouTube. So it's a part of our strategy. After that, we're probably going to be a lot more active on Twitch. So check us out on YouTube, guys. And
get over here.
Fresh and Fit, get over here on YouTube, God damn it, okay?
Get over here.
All right. Okay, so and then Chris is gonna pull up the Twitch, the chats here in a second. And guys, thank you so much for supporting us, man. This is a high IQ conversation. This is why I love bringing Rollo here. And guys, really gets me thinking.
It's a Saturday, man. You guys are in here, so
I know you usually don't do a show on Saturday.
Yeah,
this is true. Yeah.
Thanks,
y'all, man. But we had to make this show for
Rollo's
you guys.
Here, so
we got and we're reading 20 and up, right?
This is before.
Oh, this is before. Okay, so what? $2. Who y'all got in the Super Bowl? I don't watch football.
Rollo
Rams.
I
just only because I want Stafford to get a ring finally.
I don't know.
Other than that, I could care less.
Sports, nah.
San Francisco and the Raiders are out. So
RUP is Russia. Okay, it is Russia, comrade. Thank you so much, comrade.
Yes.
Dante Blanco. Y'all need to bring on Immortal Technique.
Who's that?
He's a rapper, underground rapper.
Okay.
Ross Whitehead, $9, all the way from Great Britain. Been watching since first take interview. Myron, Fresh, Chris, you guys legends from the UK. Thank you so much.
Demand them.
Miss Chenk, 808. Champions behave like champions before they are champions. Bill Walsh saw last night's show with Tommy and Donovan. A lot of victim mindset last night. Absolutely, guys. And women get the benefit of being able to sit there and cry in the victim mindset, man. Men don't. Lance Perry, Rollo, when you were on the PBD, did he believe that RP was controversial and unfair?
I don't necessarily think it was unfair. Actually, he was pretty measured in that whole talk. I don't really judge the quality of the conversation. I hate to say this, but I don't really judge the quality of the conversation like from the full podcast. I judge it from what they decide to clip out and put in clips, and try to present and say, well, this is going to make us, get more engagement for something else. And that's how but they were really pretty measured. And again, like I was telling you guys last night with Tommy Sotomayor and Donovan and Aaron Clary, of course. If I can't come correct, then I shouldn't be there in the first place. And so I think I did pretty well.
It was a great discussion, man.
Yeah,
people really loved it. GL $5, all the way from Canada. Been at LTR since 2020. I learned that she lied to me about a guy in our friend circle. I learned that she tried to F with him for 8 years. 8 years ago, but got rejected. I am 30. I make 100K and own a business. Should I keep her as a plate or goodbye? Yeah, bro, she is sex only, my friend. Nothing else, okay?
No.
Especially when you make that kind of money.
Next. Just like, why are you not spin more plates? That's the solution to your problem.
That's old news, my friend.
It's not hard to figure that one out.
Yeah.
Don't fixate on one chick, especially if you got your shit together and you're making $500,000 a year, dude.
Guys, quit tip. If you're always sourcing, you won't ever have to ask that question.
Yeah, that's true.
I was gonna say that shouldn't even been a super chat, man. Because give you your money back.
Because actually, bro, because here's the thing: I say just use her for sex, but I know his feelings are gonna get attached, so you're gonna want to escalate.
True.
Because you're asking this question, so you're
so long.
Yeah,
yeah.
So nah, man, she is a 304, my friend. You're at your peak. She's on her decline. Stop, guys. Stop rescuing these girls when you're on the incline and they're on their fucking decline, and you guys finally intersect, and she thinks, I got a chance now. Let me grab this guy on his incline. No, man. Fuck that shit, bro.
You are alpha agent of righteous karma.
Yeah.
Back then she didn't want you. Now she hot. Now you hot. She's online.
Yeah, bro. Fuck that shit. CRC, Pablo Tapia. Rollo, love to hear you for 3-hour podcast, but it is being challenging listening to your book with someone else's voice. You are a great storyteller. Okay.
You want my voice, should I say?
You could, you could, man.
I could.
Lance Perry, do you believe women are attracted to funny intelligence and wealth than physical and looks? Peter Davison, Colin, Jost.
No.
Okay.
More attracted? Well, okay, remember you have to separate arousal from attraction. Actually, that's something I tried to tell Patrick Bet David too. It was like there's a difference between attraction and arousal. Attraction qualities are for long-term security. Arousal qualities is he hot and is he fun in the bed and you see the hot guy in the phone cannon party in Cancun. There you go. Thank you. There's your statement.
Or Miami.
We need to beat this guy in Cancun at the phone cannon party.
I'm telling you.
Viley Peak, The Wrestling Mail to me is one of the most important books I've ever come across. What is in this book you can apply to more than just intersexual dynamics. It helps you understand life and puts things in perspective. Absolutely.
There you go.
Neo to the Moon. When girls think Myron's facts are opinions, it's because they think, if I can find an exception to your fact, that invalidates it, but it's not applicable when you give statistic stats and are including exceptions. Vocab is an issue. Yeah, bro. Well, here's the thing. Like I said, you got to understand, guys, that attractive women rarely get their opinions challenged ever. That's why when they come on the podcast, a lot of you guys are seeing real time them get challenged for the first time. Women rarely get challenged in their stupid belief systems, guys, because guys are trying to fuck them. Miss Shank, 808. Champions behave like... read that one. Vegan Gain's wife has OF. Also, he pegs himself on his own OF, I heard. Oh, shit. Okay, that's from King Life. Alpha Third. No. We're reading 20. Okay, William Haggerty. The blank slate equalism belief that society pushed upon myself is the main reason I was blue-pilled before reading The Rational Mail. Thank you, Rollo, for being the main driving force in my life, turning 180 degrees.
Nice.
Cool. 50 drums. Any advice for man being wrongfully accused of sexism, racism, abuse, and the patriarchy? They're upset with a leadership decision I had to make and want me fired. HR is not providing support. Big thanks, Fresh Fit and Rollo. You want to tackle that, Rollo?
Get a new job. Yeah, I know. I hate to be flippant, but it's like at some point, if that's what your life state is, if that's what your working conditions are, it's time to start looking for something a little bit, like find a new career, man. Yeah. And I know that sounds like just a dismissal. It's not, because I understand like it's everywhere, right? How do you even get another job if you've got to go talk to Karen and HR before you get the job? Well, understand that's you're either gonna have to play the game better or you're gonna have to go make your own game.
Yeah, a lot of times, guys, if you're in corporate, you have to play the game how they set it up, because if you go against the grain, you're gonna be fired. It's just a matter of time.
Yeah. Yeah, you guys got to understand that this is just one of these situations. And again, this goes to show you the ridiculousness with feminism and liberals in general. They'll sit there and complain, there's a patriarchy, it's evil, blah, blah, blah. But in reality, they're the ones that are making 6 figures a year. They're the most educated. They're living the best quality life. Women today have the best existence that has ever been bestowed upon females in general.
You want a good counter to this? tell them this. Say feminism is a contradiction in terms. Because either women are vulnerable, weak, oppressed beings, or they're Miss Marvel, right? They're superheroes and they can do anything. Which is it? Yeah. Tell me which one. Which definition? They won't even tell you that, right? Tell me which definition it is, and then we'll have a conversation about that. Are women like, repressed and vulnerable and an underprivileged class, or are they actually the superheroes that I keep seeing on Lord of the Rings and Ms. Marvel, Captain Marvel and everything? Is that them, or is that them?
And that's the thing. It's too much logic for them. This progressive woman that came in here complaining, well, there's a wage gap and you have certain privileges as a man, blah, blah, blah. Okay, name one privilege, name one right that a man enjoys that you don't as a woman. But I could definitely think of other rights and privileges that you enjoy as a woman that men don't get. Because women are able to get the benefits of equality while still enjoying the benefits of being a woman. That's what people don't understand. So they're going to complain and cry about the violent patriarchy, blah, blah, blah. This violent patriarchy has more women in college than ever before, has women living the best, highest quality life than ever before. It has them getting jobs. It has them dominating the entertainment industry. So which is it? Is there a violent patriarchy, or are you guys just a bunch of cap because you guys are benefiting from this angry patriarchy?
It's funny. I don't get mad at the girls. I get upset at where they get the advice from, or where they get the knowledge from, because obviously speaking, she heard it from somewhere else and applied it to her life. But if you think about it, is it her general ideas? Probably not. So she heard it from somewhere else.
I also want to point out here, because and I know somebody asked me about Michaela before, but she was talking with Hafiz from the roommates, and I did a breakdown video of that. You guys can go watch that red meat if you'd like. But during that conversation, she says, well, I really didn't. I tried to talk to Rollo, and I really had a bad taste in my mouth when I left that conversation. It just didn't feel good when I left. I'm like, well, was that the point? Because that wasn't my point. Okay. My point is to educate. It's not to make you feel good. If it makes you feel good, great. It's a side benefit, but that's not what I'm trying to get at. I'm trying to get at educating and getting to an objective truth. Well, the problem is, and I'm seeing this more and more, and it's not just with me, it's with guys like Matt Walsh or Andrew Clavin or the rest of these guys who are sort of in the tradcon spheres, and they really want to have a half measure when it comes to the red pill or talking about the stuff that we're talking about right now. Yeah. They don't like to touch on it because it leaves a bad taste in their mouth, and it sounds like it's angry, and it sounds like it's misogynistic, and it sounds like it's hostile and hatred towards women, right? I know what's his face, Corey Wayne was just talking. Coach Corey Wayne was just talking about Rollo zombies and stuff like that. And the reason why you're all upset about that right now is simply because it sounds like hate. It sounds like, oh, Rollo's teaching men to really be despondent and critical and it's negativity and this and that and the other thing. And I will tell you right now that the language of empiricism will always sound like hate or anger or pessimism or cynicism or whatever negative, verb or adverb you want to dig up. That will always sound like hate or negativity to an emotion, to people who are steeped in emotionalism, and that emotionalist, that's the goal of the conversation in the first place. So the language of empiricism always sounds like anger to the language of emotionalism. And that's where I think putting on the lens and seeing what was going on, like with the Matt Walsh thing with the bearded lady on Dr. Phil, I'm watching that with a red pill lens. And so other people are watching this and they're seeing a completely different conversation going on than I am. And when people say, "Oh, what you said is true, but it's truthful anger," or "What you said is true, but they want to think like I'm like a not nice guy. I'm like my goal is not to be nice. My goal is to give you the information so that you can use it to leverage it to build a better life." As I keep saying, the red pill does not exist so men will hate women. It exists so you will not hate women for what they can never be to you.
And here's another thing too, because we mentioned when we're on Flagrant, we said that men have to be on the defense. And they had a real big point of contention with that. You guys make it look like women are just evil and they're trying to rip you off and take your money and all this other shit.
Because that's the only way they can leverage having you on the show.
Exactly.
That's the only way they can. The only reason you're on there is so they can tell you that. That's the money shot right there.
Yeah.
So and we said we want guys to come from a position of defense with women so that they don't get finessed. And they're like, "What do you mean?" And I was like, "Listen, man, in the world, there's two things. You either pimp or be pimp." Well, that's immature, blah, blah, blah. But they don't understand where we're getting where we're getting these ideas from. And the reason why is because Here's a cold hard facts. Women initiate about 80% of the divorces. 90% of alimony paid from men to women. Men lose their children over 90% of the times in family court. And on top of that, guys end up getting divorce destroyed, losing their homes, losing their livelihoods, losing all their money, etc. So guess what, assholes? Since men do not have an advantage in the family courts and intersexual dynamics in general, because women are the overwhelming leverage when it comes to sexuality, mating, everything else, because they pick the men, and if they don't like the guy, they can divorce him and take all his resources, etc. Guess what? Men have to be on the defensive because men do not have the backing of the institution like women do. Women can be aggressive as they can when it comes to dealing with men, etc., because there's a bunch of social conventions that are conveniently placed there to protect women from their own poor decisions. Abortions, divorce court, child support, etc. The state, Big Daddy State, is there to protect women, but it is not there to protect men. And this is what Akash and Andrew don't understand because they don't talk to regular guys like we do on a daily basis. And then on top of that, they don't talk to thousands of women like we do on a daily basis. So when they say, you guys seem to be doomsday type guys, or you guys are negative or whatever, no, we are not negative. We are objective on what's going on in reality. You guys are celebrities that make a lot of money and don't see this, but we do with our two eyes because we are not high-end comedians where we could just sit there and kind of, oh, well, not all women are like that and believe that way. No, man. Men have to be on the defensive of today's day and age because everything is against you as a guy. I know that sounds terrible. Oh, my God. Doomsday. Oh, my God. You're so negative, etc. We're not being negative. We're being realistic on the dangers that come when you deal with women in modern-day society as a man, especially with marriage. And we talked about that, and they tried to just toss it to the side. Oh, well, you're just being negative. No, this is the truth. It's an uncomfortable truth. And we want guys to be equipped with this information because society tells guys women are sugar and spice and everything nice and they can't do anything to you. No, they fucking can, guys. They can literally ruin your life and destroy you. Hell, y'all saw what happened with me with some chick just lying saying I got her pregnant. What happened? All the bullshit. Right? So shit is real out here. And guys don't understand that. And it amazes me how when we say these things, their default response is not to understand, but rather to disqualify us and say, well, who hurt you?
Right.
You watched the movie The New Matrix by chance?
I have not watched it. I refuse to watch that.
It's funny because that movie was not the best. However, there was a part in there where Neo got out of the Matrix, right? They got him. And Trinity was still in the Matrix. And it was up to her to decide.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler, my bad. Spoiler alert.
Guys, like the video, by the way, please.
No, you know what? Ruin it. It's not a good movie.
Spoiler alert coming.
Pause this part. But basically what happened was that like Neo got out, right? And he was open to listen to what had to be said. He was ready for it, right? However, Trinity at the moment might not have been. Get this though. When they went back to the blue pill Matrix, whatever, right? They found her and she had a choice to make right there and then. And in that moment, she was open to listen, and then she received it and got out. We're going into spaces where people are not ready to receive it.
Yeah.
So as a result, get them the facts, the hard truth, but it doesn't feel good or it doesn't make them feel like, oh, you know what? He's one of us. So guess what? They're not going to relate, and they're going to defend as much as possible to stay right.
Not only that, their reality is not reinforced by what we're saying.
Yeah.
Hey, no offense to Akash and Andrew. We love you guys, but you guys are successful comedians that don't understand the everyday guy's struggle. Yeah. Y'all don't talk to them every day like we do. You guys are comedians. You might tell jokes, ha ha ha. They're in the comments, but they're there for entertainment. They're not there to self-improve. We're the ones in the self-improvement world where we're hearing the fucking war stories. We're hearing guys saying, yo, I'm going through this, I'm going through that, blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm saying?
And the biggest part, we're actually in the dating market dating consistently every single day.
Yeah.
So we're seeing it real time. We're hearing people, and then Rollo brings the theory as well. It's like, yo, you can't beat the hard facts. But remember, it's how it makes them feel. And once again, guess what? It goes against their beliefs. So they don't want to accept it because they just, you know what's problem? You know what's problem? They just got married. If they accept this, what we're saying right now, it's gonna challenge what they're doing.
That's fucking so true, bro.
They have to believe what they
They
believe.
both just got married. Yeah. Wow.
They can't. So that's the biggest part there.
Like if I told someone, right, that just bought a Ford F-150, yo, bro, Ford stands for fix or repair daily. You fucking stupid. You're gonna have an issue with that car probably in 4 to 5 years. Whoa, bro. Nah, I got a good insurance policy on it. Not all Fords are bad.
Justifying.
Yeah, man. They're gonna justify that.
That's what throws
Good
people
point,
off.
Fred.
Like,
Yeah.
and let me settle this right now to anybody who wants to see that. Like, people throw rocks at me all the time. They say Rollo's married, he can't be red pill, or Rollo's red pill, he can't be married. It just depends on which side of the argument you're on. And I can't win, so I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing.
Yeah.
But it's the same thing. Like, people can't understand that. I've been married for 25 years, right? And they'll say, I can't believe you're so against marriage. I'm not against marriage. I'm against the way we do it now. I'm against the
Big
way
difference.
that the institution has evolved and developed into what to the all downside risks, unconscionable contract that it is today. But for me to say that to someone like Akash, whose like personality is invested in his belief in, what is it? He was talking to Joe Rogan. He's
30
only ever
years?
banged his one wife, and he's like 35 years old or something like that. Yeah, of course he's the way.
Yeah,
of course
31.
look,
I think he lost to
of
Virginia,
course
31.
you look like a Neanderthal to him because he has so much. Like, his reproductive problem has to be solved with that one woman. It's all invested into that one chick, and if he's wrong, he's betting his life that he's right or he's wrong on that.
And
Go ahead.
You know what's funny? Andrew even said it. You know what? You might be right. She might come back and divorce me later on. I don't know. But I'm going to keep believing what I believe. And that's the biggest thing here. They can't go back, because if they go back to thinking this way or even open up to it, the possibility that they might be wrong. And as a result, they lose everything.
And that's why people don't understand. Like, when I say I've been married for 25 years, I'm not against marriage. I am against the way that we do it now. But when I say that, people automatically take it and think that I'm against it. But even still, it's like, I think what throws them off is that I'm a guy in a fairly idealized ideal marriage. Most guys would want what I have. I've got a great daughter. I've got a great wife. We still have sex. I'd say we are really, into each other. We're very much still in love. And the thing that gets them is, like, here I am saying that marriage is an unconscionable contract. Marriage is an all downside risk for guys. I wish it wasn't. They don't get that part, but they think that when I say something like that it means that I'm necessarily against marriage. Now, here I am in an ideal marriage, and I'm saying that really throws them for a loop, because now they're like, here's a guy in a good marriage, and he's still saying that don't get married. I can't endorse marriage the way it is.
This goes to show like the extreme logic, because even you in an ideal marriage, you're telling people, hey, this isn't the way, guys. For most of you, you're gonna fail. But you flip it around. These guys are saying, no, marriage is great. You should be able to do it, blah, 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 and everything else like that, because they just bought the Ford. But they just bought the Ford, and they're like, yo, I don't want to fucking, admit that Fords have issues. But you bought the Ford 20 years ago, and you understand that they were still made in fucking Detroit, American-made, baby, and they don't have issues. But now these newer models do. And I'm advising you guys not to buy new Fords. Just because I have an old Ford does not mean that you should buy a new Ford. But people can't fucking grasp this shit. And if anything, if someone that's doing something or has done it is telling you, do not get in it now, you should listen to that fucking person. Do not listen to the person that's getting the new stuff, because they don't have the body of evidence and the experience to tell you, yo, this car is probably going to have issues for you because they're ego invested. They just bought it. If I dropped $100,000 on a fucking Ford F-150 and someone is telling me, hey, man, that thing's going to break down in 5 years, I'm going to look up. I can't hear you. La, 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 la. And that's what these guys are saying, because they don't want to accept the reality that the market has changed. Fords are no longer reliable like they were back in the fucking 80s. And that's kind of where Rollo's coming from on this.
And if anyone's credible enough, is Rollo. He has a working marriage that's actually tested tested through time. And then guess what, right? Let's say, for example, I'm talking to a chick, right, that's dating somebody for the first time, right? Do I want advice from her or someone that's been dating someone for a while over a period of time? And that's you.
Well, and then the other thing is that I represent, like I said, I have an ideal marriage right now. Now, if I am telling you don't get married, that, like, a guy who's in a shitty marriage who says, hey, don't get married, then you go, oh, well, it's because he's in a shitty marriage, right? If a guy's in a good marriage, he says, you know what? It's not the best idea right now. Like, if you insist, then at least be red pill aware and understand. Like, don't go in like, oh, blind, I don't know what I'm doing. I can't believe I got blindsided. I can't believe she changed on me, kind of thing. I'm not against marriage. I'm against, I didn't see it coming, Pollyanna. Oh, I hope things work out. Let's pray long enough and maybe then it'll work out.
Let's manifest it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm not saying that marriage is a bad thing. I think once again, men are better together than they are, or men and women are better together than they are apart. We are natural, innate complements to one another. And again, my strengths offset my wife's weaknesses and vice versa.
Yeah.
Okay, we're meant to be, symbiotic partners. Okay, we're both human beings. That's how it works. But we're different, but we're complements to one another. And I really wish, guys, I could. I honestly wish I could say, hey, dude, marriage is the greatest thing in the world. I think you should really get into it. But I can't do that right now. The way that marriage is arranged, certainly in Western cultures. I've gotten into that conversation with Dr. Piper, who's like this religious figure on the Pat Campbell show. God rest his soul. And where I took the it was funny. I took the stance of anti-marriage, but then when we got to like, okay, what's the solution? I said, well, maybe how about a covenant marriage, like where the state is out of this, and all the benefits and all the risks and everything are at least in some way mitigated, some way for you to, and then maybe I could endorse marriage under that, but as it is right now, it's an unconscionable contract, meaning that knowing everything and all the risks, no reasonable person would sign that contract. You can't even enforce it legally. It's actually a legal term, an unconscionable contract. You wouldn't get into that contract had you know all the stipulations and everything that comes from it. And I know somebody's going to say, you would never sign a contract that benefits the other side for breaking the contract. Got it. Thank you, MGTOW. There's your plug. Okay. Yeah. But it's but coming from me, a guy who has a good marriage, and telling guys, "Oh, you shouldn't get married," then they think, "Oh, well, there must be something wrong with that Rollo guy. He must be he must be hiding something, because it made me feel bad at the end of all of this." Yeah. So that's trying to explain that over and over and over again, because I will look in any of these chats from PBD or on any of these other off-brand podcasts, right? And that's the first thing anybody throws at me. And I'm like, you don't understand. I can separate my marriage from the institution and the way we do marriage right now. It's not yin and yang. If you have a good marriage, you should be endorsing it and being on team marriage, and you should have, advertise for it and go to marriage conferences and everything. No, I can separate. I know the difference. I know the risks. I know. And it's like, I've had guys tell me, it's like marriage today is like building a house on land you will never own. Damn. And I'm like, yes, that's very true. Now, is there ways to live a pretty good life on a house on the land that you don't own? Yeah, there are. You can still mitigate that, and you be red pill aware and be, a dominant, masculine, positive influence.
Use cheap materials.
Use cheap materials, right? But you can still have a pretty nice life in that house, even though that you're never gonna own that land. But would it be nice to own the land? Yeah. But until we have marriage reform, until there's some kind of marriage reform, I'm not going to be on team marriage.
Yeah. And it's funny,
I wish I could.
Even in our show, right? That's what unfortunately the girls do. They'll take their own experience and say, "Oh, this is how it is." Yeah. But you're saying, you know what? Separate my experience from what's happening right now, the truth, and here's the truth. So that's important.
Yeah. I mean, I went to college. I'm telling y'all, don't go to college unless you're going to get a career out of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't major in some BS just because. But, it's the same exact concept. Like, we had a huge debate with Hafiz and the roommates about this, about marriage and whatever. And we said, we're not against marriage, but our thing is, do not involve the state. You know what I'm saying? Nope. So if you're going to get married, you need to make sure that the state is not involved, because like you said before, you don't want to get in a contract with someone that's incentivized to break it, because, men take all the risk when it comes to marriage, man. And that's why you got to play on the defense.
If there's true love, as they say, true love should cover everything, then guess what? If you truly love me, why do we have to involve the state?
Perfect.
I don't know. So
they don't have an answer for that. When you said that yesterday, they didn't have an answer.
Quiet.
Yeah. So chats real quick, and then so we covered emotionalism versus stoicism. We covered we got some female statistics to hit, right?
Yeah, we can.
Cover some of those.
Yeah, let's get to the super chats.
Then genuine desire.
God, I'm Dre. Can't get enough of the truth. You guys holding a lot of weight. Keep up the good work, brother. Absolutely, guys. Every time we bring Rollo in, it's a clinic. And also, guys, go get the Rational Mail. If you guys like what you guys are hearing today, go ahead and get the Rational Mail. This book right
Available
here, man.
on Amazon and Audible.
Yes, it's everywhere, guys. And he has a couple of books, man. He has book 4, Religion. Aren't you working on a 5th?
I got a 5th book that's coming out. It's going to be the Player's Handbook.
There you go, bam.
Yeah. I'll explain later. It's not a how-to book. It's a why it works book. It's understanding the principles behind like some of the most like guys will always ask me. They'll say, what's the best book to learn game from? Because I'll talk about, I'll be on with John from Modern Life Dating, and we'll be talking about game frame, muscles, money, that kind of the I guess he's on 4, but like,
Quad.
make money, make muscles, learn game. And then I would say, frame is all those combined together. That's your frame, right?
Yeah. That's the embodiment of having those 3 things in place.
Right. And so the most common one is like, people can figure out, like guys can figure out, okay, make muscles. Okay. That means the gym. I go in there and I do that. That's actionable, right? Make money. Well, okay. I can get into crypto. I can listen to these guys. I can become an entrepreneur. I can up my money in different water. I can, start working harder. I can start a business. That seems really actionable. Game is kind of elusive to guys because I would say the number one deficit that most men, particularly in the latter half of the millennial generation and most of Generation Z have, is they have a real difficulty with social skills. And I think it's as a result of this. And so people are asking, like I was making this point last night, and I think it was with Tommy, when Tommy Sotomayor was on. Tommy was great too, by the way. I love to shout out to Tommy Sotomayor because he was talking about how like you guys are a blunt instrument and I'm more like a scalpel when we're doing the surgery on things. That was a really good, and I got to remember that. But he was saying, the difference between, like, say, I think Aaron Clary was talking about, going out and meeting girls and being proactive about it. And once you get face to face,
talked about the numbers with it, like how you have to approach girls.
Exactly.
Which I thought was amazing. He said, hey, if you approach one girl a month or something like that, it increases your chances tenfold. I was
and what he's getting at is something that I've talked about, which is its persistence. It's not a numbers game so much as it is doing it over and over and over again. So I've told guys this because they go, what, I got to spam approaches all the time? I'm like, no, do one a week. Do one every Friday. New girl every Friday. You're doing one a week. By the time you get to the end of the year, that's 52 approaches. That is more approaches than the average guy will do in a lifetime.
It's
so true, bro.
It's funny. Like at the beginning of my journey, right? Like it was so tough to even get like a response. And I'd be like, no. But the more I did it, okay, I could come on this angle. You know what? Let's try this. And over time, I perfected how to do the approach. And guess what? I figured out even better. Instead of doing a cold approach, I could do a social media approach. So me doing the act, it becomes, okay, you know what? How can I improve? And as men, if you don't do the act, how can we ever improve?
Another thing, too, guys got to understand, no matter how good your approach is, no matter how much you perfect it, because you said you perfected it, you're still going to get rejected.
Exactly. Even
I think guys don't understand that you will always get rejected. And not only will you always get rejected, you're going to get rejected better than 90% of the time. I don't think men really, really grasp that, how low the percentages are when it comes to cold approaching, which is why you got a lot of guys in the sphere that say cold approaching is dead. It's a waste of time, etc. I respectfully disagree. I think you still need to cold approach because you ain't going to get leads unless you cold approach. But I see where they're coming from a numerical standpoint.
Mixed martial arts. You need both. You need to be able to talk to a girl straight up, and in the clubs, where just start a conversation and be personable and go from there. And then also online, you still have to, I'm not saying that Instagram's not the number one dating app in the world. You do. It's all brand management. Everything, like dating in the 21st century, is all brand management.
Facts.
Whether that's you talking to her direct on the sales, you're a salesman on the used car lot, or you're like getting it online, you're still trying to sell the damn car. Okay, so combine those two, and you're gonna have a pretty successful game life, and that's really what I'm trying to get at in book 5.
Okay, right. So I'll read these real quick. Jake's Move Lifestyle, $20. And guys, do me a quick favor, bro. There's 3,700 you guys in here right now on YouTube. Do me a quick video. We're on a Saturday, man. We never do pods on Saturdays, really. So, guys, do me a quick favor. Just like the video, please, man. That's all we need. Jake's Move Lifestyle. Damn, I bought a F-150 last year. Now thinking about trading again. LOL. Keep up the
Buy a classic. Get a classic.
F the best. And then anybody else, Chris?
Yeah, we got more.
Okay. And thank you guys so much for the donations, man. Pharaoh Vibes. You often have fam. Love the show. Any advice for us corporate office workers with long hours who are trying to lose the gut? Also, shouts out to Rollo for this wisdom. Track your calories, my friend, and drink and work out at least 3 times per week. That will do good. Good mother. Haven't seen you in a while. Welcome back. Feminism has been the biggest gaslighting cult humanity has ever seen across countries. They get these ideas from feminists at universities. These gents for continuing to hammer on this. Appreciate y'all. Oh, also, speaking of universities of feminism, they're studying our video with Brittany Renner, guys. I've got several videos and clips of feminist studies classes studying that podcast, which is hilarious. Peyton Manning with wheels. Just left a date restaurant movie with a girl. Seemed fine. Date went well. She texted me after. I just see you as a friend. Oh my God. Literally in tears right now. Tired of denial. I believe RP was just hateful to women. No, it's the truth. Guys, this is why you don't take a girl to a restaurant or the movie on a first date, my friend. Always drinks or something low investment, man. Always. Bro, right?
Think about this, right? When you meet a girl for the first time, she's talking to at least one
other guy
or 2 or 3 or 4 guys at the same time. If you take her on a date, and let's say, for example, it's just for food or like an interaction like a movie, bro, She built a connection with that guy before you. So you need to build a connection with her on your date. So doing that movie theater is not going to work. Has to be in a setting where you can either talk, sit down, and it's one-on-one. So real talk, doing a movie is a horrible idea, bro.
Well, I don't think these... Bro, we might actually have to get one of the girls that are on our show and have them show their DMs and their text messages, bro. Yeah. That's when it's going to like fucking hit you guys in the head. Like, I don't understand why guys are still sitting there and investing a fuck ton on first dates with these fucking girls, bro.
I still have this in the works as soon as Justin ever gets back from Dubai. But Justin Waller and I have been talking about doing a sort of a dark arts episode where he's gonna like show like his communications with women on Hinge, on Bumble, on Seeking Arrangements, on Tinder, that kind of stuff, and just showing like what the conversations are and how his text game is like on point. Now it helps that he's a good looking guy with a lot of money. Got it. But like, I don't think most guys understand what's going on online dating. When a woman does respond, like, cause I mean, was it Hinge and Bumble? Like the girl has to hit you up first, right? It has to come see you
on Bumble.
What happens once they do? That's where game comes in, and if you don't know what the hell you're doing, you're at a serious disadvantage.
I don't think men, like so many guys don't, because if you guys
you're not going to copy and paste game, put it that way.
Yeah. If you guys knew how many options the average woman has, you guys would not be doing this fuck shit where you guys are taking girls out on really nice or expensive time-consuming dates. Because even if you only spent, let's say you only spent $50, I know you spent a lot of time watching a movie with that bitch, bro.
2-3 hours,
for nothing. Like, bro, you guys got to. Because here's the thing, I know what they're saying. Well, Fresh takes girls out on dinner dates. Hold on. He screens the fuck out the girl. He does a FaceTime call with her. He screens the hell out of her before. We talk about this on Patreon, patreon.com/FreshFit, where we talk about if you're going to take girls on unorthodox dates, like dinner dates, inactivity, etc., you need to do the work on the front end. If you're not going to do the work on the front end, you're going to be lazy like me, then you need to take them on a low investment date for the first one, guys, every single time. The reason why I get so passionate about this is because it burns me every time you guys message me saying, I did this, I did that, and then she puts me in a friend zone, etc. We tell you guys all the time, these fucking bitches are used to using motherfuckers. You know what? We're going to get a girl that we trust and like from the pod, and we're going to show you guys their fucking phones, guys, and let you guys see how deep this shit is. The reason why so many modern day women don't respect you, they flake on you, they don't respect your time, they don't want to fuck you on dates or whatever it is because they have so many fucking options, bro. I don't think you guys know the gravity. Even an average bitch that's overweight is going to have more options than a Jay Waller, than a Myron Gaines, than a Fresh Prince CEO.
That's true.
We got blue checks and we got money and we still deal with the fuckery with these girls. What the hell do y'all niggas think is going to happen when you're a regular guy taking these bitches out on dinner dates and watching Spider-Man coming home with her? It's not going to go. She ain't going to come home with you.
All right.
She going to watch that movie and call me and Myron. Yo, you still up?
Where you at?
I'm coming over right now.
Uh-oh.
And you know the funny part? Y'all don't see the legwork that I put in before dinner dates.
Yeah.
Once again, FaceTime, and sometimes I smash before we even go on a dinner date.
Yep.
So I'm saying this to say, from an advanced perspective, I can do that. However, the average person should not do that.
90% of you guys should not be taking these bitches on movie or dinner dates unless you have a certain system in place to make sure that you mitigate risk, because it is risky when you take a girl on a dinner date, guys. That's why we say, and if you are going to go get food with her, it's gotta be some fucking bullshit appetizers, tacos. Where do you go to tacos?
Tacos.
You know what I'm saying?
That's where I go.
No girl's gonna go sleep with you after she has a double cheeseburger.
There you go.
Sorry, no girl wants to sleep with you with onion breath and garlic. Yeah, steak. If she had if that's how you know you're gonna get. This is how we used to figure it out in the old days. Okay, if that girl was having like a big old piece of pizza or she was having like a burrito supreme, you're not getting laid. You're not. So she's not gonna have sex with you with her breath smelling.
And you know what? I just thought about that.
Women think of those things.
No, they do. I just thought. Remember this. We got to talk about the 80-20 thing too, because there's a lot of thing on that.
Oh man, let me call that.
But yeah, this is why I love having Rollo here. But guys, it really burns me when I see you guys get like, if there's anything that gets me angry, it's when girls finesse guys, bro. It fucking gets me mad, especially if you guys are watching our pod. We are the defense force to getting finesse, guys.
But we're angry. We're angry, my friend. We're
angry. Whatever it is.
All you guys do is complain.
And trust me, we've been finessed in the past, so we 100% know what happens. And as a result, let's say for example, right? Someone's telling you advice, but they've never been finessed, bro. Run for the hills, because how are they gonna tell you how to move if they've never been finessed? How,
bro? We are the FFF, Fresh and Fit Finesse Defense Force.
Finesse gang.
We're the fucking genuine force in this thing. Telling y'all
Sandinista rebels.
You know what I'm saying? We are out here.
Congolese Liberation Army.
I feel like fucking Rakum this motherfucker. I'm trying to tell y'all niggas, stop being fucking simps, man. Stop getting used. Yo, I'm saying like this. Like, like this shit. Like,
Red Pill Ninja.
We're cool. For you motherfuckers.
Chinese strong
Stop getting finessed by these girls, man. Are you okay? Damn. Bust that wolf. You got me fucking going nuts over here, bro. Stop taking these bitches on first dates that don't deserve it, man. I feel like fucking Rakub on this shit. Captain Ginyu, I wish I could switch bodies with you niggas sometimes. Right? And then I get into your body, pause, no homo. And then I'm like, yo.
Hey, Guido.
Now I'm on the date with you. As you on the date with the chick. I'm be like, what? Where do we go? Poppy No, we're changing this date up. We're gonna go to fucking Taco Bell. We're gonna go to Chipotle. We're gonna go to that.
Wendy's 4 for 4.
You know, 4 for 4.
That's what I'm gonna make afterwards.
4 for 4.
But no, look. Okay, so earlier, right? I did a live stream with the girl Lena, and she's telling me she never pays for anything. I'm like, explain, dude. Dudes pay for her dinner, her lunch. They also pay for like her rent. They also pay for like her car. Dude, literally, she has a guy for each expense in her life. So her money is her money. And once again, guys, if you don't know, you're gonna be finessed.
And she comes from a rich family.
Now there's one guy in her rotation, wink, wink. That's a sneaky link. So that means he's smashing for shut up, nigga. he's smashing for free, while all the other guys are paying. Guys, you want to be in a position where you're not paying, you're actually getting the benefits without paying. So that's just keeping it real.
Man, yeah. You know what, man? Because I know a girl also that does that here in Miami as well, bro. We might have to bring these girls on and like let you guys really like see it with your own two fucking eyes. Because a lot of you guys sit here and idealize women and think that they're sugar and spice and everything nice. Even though you guys watch us, you guys can't fathom. No, the girl I'm talking to here in the middle of nowhere in Nebraska,
special.
She can't be like that.
Never.
She comes from a church family.
What?
Blah, blah, blah. Next thing you know, she's talking to a nigga like Chris, talking about coming out here. You know, he's over here.
Yeah, context. It's all context, man. I hate that, man. I hate that when people go, oh, well, those guys on Fresh and Fit, they talk to a certain demographic of girls. No, 304s? Is that what? Just say 3. It's okay. Say 304s. It's all right. Are they ratchet assholes? Yes. I bought the t-shirt. Thank you very much. Yes, they are. But here's the thing is that's context. That's how it is expressed. Hypergamy is hypergamy, and I don't care if she's like this, beautiful woman in the, Pennsylvania Amish Dutch country up there, okay? Yeah. By context, it's still expressed in just a different way, but the mechanics, the machine, the firmware is still the same. The software might be different, but the firmware is still the same.
Just because she's not openly hypergamous, guys, does not necessarily mean that she isn't hypergamous, right? You guys, gold digger, yeah, I got her, you identified, bitch, but there's a bunch of women that are hypergamous as fuck, they just don't tell you.
But they're not all like that.
Bro,
go ahead, Fresh.
It's funny because, okay, so I'm doing this experiment, right, where I'm talking to girls from outside of Florida and girls that are here, right? And I've realized girls from like Tennessee, Texas, Vegas, they'll come to Miami, right? And really open up and have fun. But back home, they're Miss Goody Two Shoes. However, they have sneaky links. So as a result, they seem like the average nice girl. Like, oh yeah, goes to church, goes to school, doesn't do anything. But bro, when she's able to actually be herself and be out where no one can judge her, bro, demon time.
Yeah, man.
Demon time.
Guys, do me a favor real quick. Like the video. There's 3,600 of you guys in here. Almost 3,700, man. We're giving y'all a bunch of facts and fire. Fucking doing
Rollo in the house.
Dance moves.
Let me throw it because
please.
I got to tag
I saw you writing down. So
I know.
Let's
I'm a note taker. What can I say? No, I hate it when people think that the red pill is just those guys who think that women are all the same. No, we don't. We don't think that all women are exactly the same little, the template that it keeps, grinding them out, okay? Mm-hmm. Because what happens is women, again, it's that binary extreme. It's like, well, you think that women are all the same and they'll never change and there's nothing, they're all gold diggers and they're all opportunistic and whatever. It's like, no, the firmware is the same, but the software is not always the same. Of course, can a woman control her hypergamy? Well, yeah, she can if she's incentivized to do so, or she lives in a society that encourages her to do so, to be in control. We teach guys, in fact, guys are better at that than women are, because guys have a much higher libido and we have to constantly say, got to keep it in your pants, man. You if you're a senator and you go and you have illicit sex with somebody with a hooker in a hotel room, that's your ass. That's your career, right? But when we expect that from guys, we go, oh, it's a sex scandal, like what Cuomo and all that other.
Yeah.
Cuomo, his downfall was not the killing, being, well, let's just say implicitly implied in the deaths of people in old people in the assisted living thing. That didn't bring him down. But a sex scandal did. A sex scandal did. That's how important it is that men have to keep it in their pants and be, okay, so we have to teach them to be in control. Can we teach women? Yeah, we have for a long time up until the sexual revolution. And now it's let your freak flag fly, right? It's all about like, don't judge me. And judgmentalism is something we should probably get into as well. But it's all about these personal freedoms of women that at the expense of actually any kind of self-control. Can women can they be in control of their hypergamy? Yeah, they can. It used to be society was certainly a buffer on that. Religion was a buffer on that. Family was a buffer on that. There were lots of ways that we were, societally, let's say buffering women's the worst aspects of women's mating strategies and men's mating strategies at the same time. What we've done now is we have reinforced all of this control and all of this responsibility for men, this old order responsibility for men, but we have new order benefits for women, and we can't be judgmental.
Facts.
We can't tell women to be in control of their hypergamy because that would be crushing their poor little sensibilities, or we're misogynist or misogyny. Right. Yeah. So that's how we're going to characterize that. And just me saying that, by the way, means that I think that all women are the same. That's not what I have ever said. That's not what I've ever heard you guys ever say. And yes, we understand that women are individuals as well. But the reason why they have a problem with that is because we also draw attention to the factual reality that there's commonalities between women. Women have specific mating strategies that have evolved over millennia to get to where we're at right now. And we're still dealing with the outcome and the fallout of that all the time. So are all women the same? Let me tell you right now, haters, okay? No, not all women are the same. So stop it with your bullshit lies about, that's what the red pill says. No, that's not what we're saying. We just draw out the commonalities. We talk about the commonalities. So when we say, those guys are just complaining all the time, they don't say anything uplifting, and I've left with a bad feeling. Yeah, well, that's because we're trying to talk about facts, and the point of our conversation is about objective truth, and it's not about you going away with a good or a bad feeling.
Here's a saying that says, prevention is better than cure. We're telling guys to be aware of how
pound of prevention is worth an ounce of profession.
Are some women not going to take these actions and take these characteristics? Maybe, but we're just saying, hey, if you meet one that does have these actions and characteristics, be aware.
Bro, it's the FFFDF, bro. Fresh and Fit Finesse Defense Force. All right? That's what we got fucking going on right now. Been birthed. It's us and Rollo Tomassi.
Body armor.
Yeah, right? We're the fucking FFFDF, man. Fresh and Fit Fitness Defense Force. All right, Bobby Sour Juice. Do you guys think the whole My Truth stuff is a weak attempt at establishing a frame? Also, get ready for the crappy woke Super Bowl ads. I got $20 on a pamphlet pushed on the public at least once. Absolutely. I watched Flagrant too because Andrew and I was surprised to see y'all on there. It was surprising how emotionally triggered Alex and Akash was in their points of view. Akash is around because Andrew loves doing charity work. Y'all are hilarious. And no, this is not no shade to them, guys. We knew that was what's going to happen, but we wanted you guys to learn from it. That they look at things like this, and this is how a lot of guys look at it, and this is how the reality operates. Go ahead.
I'll say this. Akash is there for a reason. Obviously, he helps Andrew with his work, so I wouldn't discredit him from that. I would just say his views are a little bit different. So
hit the like button, $5. Thank you so much. Yeah, guys, do me a favor. Hit the like button. We're going to get into 80-20. You want to do 80-20 next?
Yeah, we'll do that.
Okay.
Sure.
We got
to do genuine desire. I'm gonna hold your feet to the fire for a minute.
Myron and Fresh, all gas, no breaks, brothers. Rollo, well done on the PBD show. Enjoy your time in Florida, G.
Thanks.
Absolutely. And then we got Dax. Nope, sorry. What do we got? Okay, Shitty Greg, Fresh to Spin. I live in LA. I got a girl in my rotation who has a dude who pays her $4,000 for rent for her BMW and her grad school.
Damn.
Young fellas, first 2 to 3 dates, go to Starbucks, $10 max. Do not give your energy to them. Do not. Facts.
we love the hoes, man.
And then $20 from Chris Winchester. Sheesh. When's the church opening? Because on God, y'all are preaching right now. My friend, I got you. Because right
Winchester.
Shout out, Chris.
And then
I owe you some money, Chris. I do.
So 80-20. We're gonna not go into that right now.
You can if you want.
All right, let's do it because I will say this before we bring. I'll do the quick little intro. We began a lot of hate. Oh, how do you know that 20% of men are having sex with 80%? What are you talking about?
How dare you?
You know, and I think they're misinterpreting a lot of the information that we put out. But we're going to clarify for y'all right now for all the haters on Reddit and everywhere else, or people sending me DMs. I don't know if that's statistically true. Blah, blah, blah. So let's break that down, Rollo. Take it.
All right, so here's what I get all the time. Most of the hate that I get, and probably you guys too, usually comes, like 90% of it usually comes from guys who are just simply misinformed.
Yep.
They heard it somewhere, or they only had the patience to watch a 53-second short clip on the red pill on YouTube. It showed up in their impressions, and suddenly now they're red pill experts, right?
Exactly. Yep.
And it usually is whatever is the most like emotionally red meat, kind of palatable for people to sort of say, "Oh, I'm against that. Fuck
That's what they
those
react
guys,"
to.
right? And without ever having, it's basically what I call intellectual lethargy. Okay, so they're just too. It's not that they're dumb; it's that they're too lazy to go and actually have the patience to say,
like
what are
that.
these guys
Intellectual
really
lethargy. I like that.
Intellectual lethargy, right? They just don't want to go and spend the time to. And I understand that you only have so many hours in the day.
Yeah, of course.
I can't possibly keep up with like people send me stuff like, you really need to do a breakdown video of this. Okay, cool. I'll look at it. I'll look at it in my email and stuff. And I'm like, this is like a 3.5 hour video. Like what exactly was the salient points in this? Oh, the whole thing. Dude, I can't do that. And I know other people can't. You know, when people say, were you offended when Michaela was, clearly hasn't read your books? I'm like, no, because she doesn't have the interest in the first place, but she's happy.
She's a woman.
What I call these guys is like, they are confidently ignorant. They are confident in their ignorance, meaning that they're confident in whatever their opinions are, but those opinions are based on misinformation or what they've heard from someone else, such as, like, oh, Rollo's against marriage, but he's married, right? That kind of stuff. And then of course what happens, so that's 90% of the hate. The other 10% of the hate comes from like content creators who hate you already, who are the ones that are out there going, Rollo said that, bitches ain't nothing but tricks and hoes, right? That kind of stuff. Or they're all about negativity, or they're all about, like, they'll try to find some sort of straw man to sort of build themselves up because they're trying to build a brand. Yeah, and what happens is the people who watch that take that, and then they'll come back to me and they go, well, what about that time when, Kevin Ray Wilder was a barista and he said that you were, the iron rule of Tomassi number 4 was incorrect. And what do you have to say about that? I'm like, where the fuck is he getting this? Right. And I have to go, I'm going to go spend the time to go track down your misinformation.
Yeah.
So one of I think one of the most misquoted, and I hear this all the time, even from like TradCon guys right now, one of the most misquoted,
Stats, facts?
and maxims, I guess, is the 80-20 rule. When we talk about the Pareto principle, I think it was Sam Vaknin or whatever that whack job is. He was talking about, the 80-20 rule is not a real rule. It's just rubbish, and I'm like, what the fuck is he getting this? And he thinks that he thinks that the red pill says that just what you just said, that 20% of guys are banging 80% of the women. That is not what the 80-20 rule is. In fact, this is the 80-20 rule, very well documented by our good friend Steve Stewart Williams, who is one of my favorite Evo site guys. Studies of online dating find that most men find most women at least somewhat attractive. In contrast, women view 80% of men as below average in attractiveness. Okay,
is that 80 or 90?
Well, it says 80% here. No. There's you know why you're asking that? Because there's multiple research that confirms pretty much that same thing, right? Yeah. All right, so average in attractiveness. Now, okay, so in contrast, women view 80% of men as below average in attractiveness. Men liked more than 60% of female profiles, while women liked only 4.5% of male profiles. Okay, that's the 80-20 rule. Get it through your fat heads, okay? The 80-20 rule isn't, there's 80% of guys that want to get to 20% of the women or what. No, stop mixing that shit up. 100% of women want to get with the top 20% of guys, okay? That leaves the 80% of guys who are just trying to find an end run around making themselves more attractive or bumping themselves up in some way to get into that top 20% of guys. Now, does that mean that they're monopolizing the sexual marketplace? Some are. That maybe the top 5% of guys, maybe the Justin Wallers of the world are monopolizing the bitches, right? But that most of those guys who are like, he's gonna hate me for that. But like if you're in the top 20%, that doesn't mean like all of those guys are just like fiendishly going, look around here, I'm gonna have a nice harem. That's not what's going on. Hypergamy works in terms of women do not have an attraction floor, okay? Or men, they have an attraction floor. Men do not have an attraction floor. So a woman who is I try to explain this to PBD, but a woman who's a 6 is looking for a 6 or 7 or an 8 or a 9, blah blah. Okay, that's how they're always aiming up.
Her floor
up,
is typically
up
her status, her own.
For
level.
men, it's, if you're a 5 or a 6, guys would love to get with a 9. Sure, they would. They're jerking off to 9s all the time on Pornhub. But
until they actually get one.
But nobody is ugly after 2 a.m. Right, so it's when it comes to sexual opportunism, men have a lock on that. Okay, so you go slump busting or whatever, however you want to have, whatever euphemism you would like to use. But the fact of the matter is that 80% of guys versus the 20% who are the attractive ones that women want to have sex with, and then there's the guys who are just sort of the have-nots in all of this, and we're seeing this in more and more stark contrast right now. So in some ways, I can understand why haters want to try to say, "Oh, it's not all bad news." No, it isn't, and it's not bad news, but get your numbers straight, okay?
So, okay, and I could concede that. Maybe I may have misquoted it myself in the past. So I will say this, and I think that's a big part of being able to grow and adapt is you need to be able to, constantly refine and make sure that you're up to date. So my thing is this. What percent do you think are actually sexually active with the women?
Well,
the guys are actually sticking D's and V's, man.
Well, okay. Well, we can go back and we can look at the general survey study, which was from like 2018 or 2019, and that's the one, of course, where
Washington Post, right?
Yeah. Well, Washington Post reported on it, but it's the general survey study of the United States. Okay, and then one of those data sets is like the sexual habits of like from, I think it was from 2008 to 2018, and it finds that, it was just recently there was another article written about it, but it's right around 30%. Almost a third of men below the age of like 30 or younger have had no sex.
Damn.
Like, period. End of story. Okay.
That's a fact.
That doesn't. Okay. So that's that stat. But the thing is the frequency of sex for women across the board has pretty much either flatlined or it's gone up a little bit. So those guys are not getting it. But that means that women are still having sex. They're just not having sex with that cohort of guys below 30%. I think it's 28 to 30%, somewhere around there. But these guys there's guys who are not getting substantially less sex, period. In general, millennials and Gen Z aren't really as interested. They're probably very interested. It's just
I heard that they're virgins.
Have sedation.
Not even that they don't have sex, that they're virgins.
Yes. Yeah. But if I bring that up, it's gloom and doom, and he sounds very, very angry. But that's not what I'm getting at. I'm saying that you know why they hate those stats is because it points to women's mating strategy, which is hypergamy.
Which makes
I said
bad.
the word again. Drink. Yeah, exactly.
BBD.
Yeah. So and that's true, man. So I guess we could kind of come to the logical conclusion. Is there any other data set that like kind of supports that? Because that's a fact.
I've got other
30% of men, almost 1/3 now, we know are the virgins are just not sexually active at all. Yeah. Right. So that's 1/3. So that leaves us with about.
I got it here. Here it is. Sexual inactivity increased among U.S. adults, predominantly younger men, between 2000 and 2018. Gosh, it's even longer than that. Most pronounced among men aged 18 to 24 years old. Among men aged 25 to 34, sexual inactivity doubled. So it's not just that cohort; it's also older people, like 25 to 34. On top of that, for young men, but lower than 25, like right in that 25 cohort, it's like tripled. But for guys who are between 25 and 34, it's doubled. So it's still not looking good for guys who are in their mid 30s.
Yeah,
right. Average guys in their mid 30s.
Yeah,
we keep saying average men are not attractive to average women.
True.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Well, who is attractive to average women? The top 20% of guys. I don't understand. It's not fucking rocket science.
Yeah, and not only that, I'll take it a step further. Average and below average women think that they deserve an above average man.
I'll read you the highlighted part.
Our reality fallacy.
I'll read you these are the raw numbers. I'll give you I'll just give you the highlighted parts here. It says trends in sexual frequency and numbers of sexual partners. In the total age range, sexual inactivity among men increased 9.5% from 2000 to 2002 to 16.5% from 2016 to 2018. What happened between 2016 and 2018? The absolute increase in sexual inactivity was most pronounced amongst men 18 to 24 years old, 18.9% versus 30.9%. So it's actually just it's almost 31%. Among men aged 25 to 34 years old, sexual inactivity doubled from 7% to 14.1%.
Tell the people that in English, what does that all mean?
What that means is that women will say they don't need men, but they want men. I'm sure you've heard that one before. Okay, what men do they want? The top 20%. That's who they want. That's who they're after. That's what they're looking for. That's the only thing that will do. When people ask me about like even Patrick Bet-David asked me about like poly relationships or like open marriages. I think we were talking about like maybe it was Will Smith or Aida Curry and Steph Curry right now. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And like that's supposed to be some sort of alternative to all this. And I'm going, yeah, it's not because that's like the new thing. It's because like women have more options and they want to believe that they have more options and they want to sustain that sexual agency indefinitely. You guys, you want to be a millionaire? You want to be a financial genius going forward into 2030? Invest in anything that gives women the impression that they can make their sexual market value evergreen. Do that and you'll be a millionaire. I don't care if it's a story or it's a product or freeze your eggs, whatever it is. Even like sperm donations, so true, like that's a hot. It's like, man, I can make some money off of this, right?
And dog food.
Anything that in some way gives women the impression that it doesn't matter how old they are, they can still be sexy. Doesn't matter how heavy they are, they can still be sexy. Doesn't matter, like as far as reproductive is, you're always it's men's problem and it's a social construct. Dude, and beauty is just something that men just can't get on board with. Anything that promotes that idea, you will make a lot of money.
Hold on. That right there was a gem right there. For all you investors out there.
I'm teaching you to be millionaires.
Yo,
real talk. Financial expert.
Yeah, no, real talk, guys. I invested in Chewy and it's up already. And I'll tell you guys, I did as a troll. I put in like $1,000 and it's up. And the thing is this, guys, it is so true. Anything that you invest in that reinforces women's false reality. I told y'all all the time, bro, women live in a Disney fucking fairy tale. You know how many times we brought women on here that are in their fucking 30s that say, yeah, I'm going to have a kid in 5 years. Yeah, I'm going to have a kid in 7 years. I'm going to have a kid when I'm 40, blah, blah, blah. They really think they can do it. They really think, well, my mom did it, or I know aunt that did it. Yeah, but you don't know how many failed pregnancies and how many issues that you have. Only girls that are in the medical field understand that once you're in your 30s, hey, it starts to get a little bit more risky when it comes to having kids. But the girls that are like regular chicks, business women, whatever, they believe this lie, bro. Anything that is so true, bro. If you invest in anything that perpetuates women's false narrative and ideology that they think that they can push the clock back about nature when it comes to their sexual market value or their ability to have children or have a family, whatever, you're going to become rich because women live in a Disney fairy tale and you should invest in anything that continues to perpetuate that Disney fairy tale for them.
It doesn't even have to be a concrete product. It can be a book. It can be like a course. It can be anything that says, oh, don't worry, girl, you still got it.
Yep.
Anything that convinces women that once they get past the wall, once they get past the epiphany phase, that they can still be as sexually viable and still have the same amount of sexual, the power and agency and everything that came from being 21 years old, 23. I actually said that on our good friend, Dr. Rebecca Nichols. I said, there's a reason why they call the store Forever 21, not Forever 41. That's so vile, But I didn't name the fucking store. I just work here, man. I'm just telling you.
There's a reason why these women that sit here and say I'm a strong feminist, blah blah blah. I ask them, how old are you? Oh, you never ask a woman her age. Bitch, aren't you equal? You know what I'm saying? Oh, no. But like I said, it goes back to that same thing. So equality when it suits them, lady when it suits them.
So what gets women in the door? The fantasy that they're Forever 21. That's why. I mean, that's just the mindset. Even naming your brand something.
This is why women fall in love with what they hear versus what they actually see in action.
Guys, I will just say this. This isn't financial advice. But invest in things that keep Alice in Wonderland and you will be fucking rich, guys.
Manifest it, girl.
God damn.
Manifest it. It's very true.
Is Eric Clary doing a book about this?
Oh, he's doing Operation Evil, I think is what he's talking about. But
he's writing a book basically giving women all the lies that they want to make a money grab. Because it's going to be so easy. It's like, yo, here's the book of all the lies that you want to hear. Here you go. Buy it from me.
Yeah, exactly. There's another quote here. I'll just read Rob Henderson real quick because this is out of Dr. David Buss, who is a very well-known evil psychologist.
We're still covering 80-20, guys, by the way.
80-20. Researchers found that most men find most women at least somewhat sexually attractive, whereas most women do not find men sexually attractive at all. Also, sexual revulsion, the impulse in sexual revulsion is much higher amongst women than it is amongst men. Keep those things. Now, it's all gloom and doom. You don't have anything positive. No. Understand that and act accordingly.
Bam.
Plan ahead.
DL Saint, big $100 super chat. Thank you so much. He goes, respect to Rollo, two things. One, are there any RP conferences? If so, where can I find the info?
Yeah.
Number two, what's going to happen when the court makes women pay child support and or spouse support to men? Women are making more and more and men are staying home with the kids. And I'll say number one, Conference of Masculine Excellence. Donovan just announced it, guys. Tickets are on sale. Watch our last video we had with him. Link is down there. CME. And it's going to be in Miami, Saint. You're always down here anyway, bro. So come to that. Hopefully we can get Rollo to come and speak.
I will probably be at that one. I don't know if I don't. Well, we'll see about. I'm not going to be I don't want to be the keynote speaker, but I might come down for that one.
It's going to be May 19th to May 22nd.
Yes, it's going to be right here in sunny Miami.
It's more logistics for me at this point because I got to do Rebel Capitalist. In
so
June.
that answers the first one for you, Saint. And then number two, what was it? Was about. He goes, Rollo, what's going to happen when the court makes women pay child support and or spouse support to men? Women are making more and men are staying home with the kids. That's an excellent question. What's your take on that?
That's a very rare instance right now. When that happens, it will because we have some sort of like child support or divorce reform. A lot of women want to say, well, it's just about the partner that makes the most amount of money. No, but it's also about the partner who has the most interest in the kid. It's also about, women getting 87% of divorce settlements give primary custody to the woman.
100%, yeah.
It's about people want to say, I love it when people use the case of like, is it Adele and her boyfriend or something?
Yeah, they always use gross exceptions to the rule. When the guy
very,
makes it.
very extreme. But largely openly speaking, she's the very, rare outlier.
And guess what happens when she lost weight? Things change.
Kabam! Yeah, exactly.
She's single now. It's like, guys, I don't understand.
I'll give, shout out to Adele if you're ever watching this show. I don't know why you would, but it's like she got her shit together, man. She just started losing some weight and she's looking good. And, maybe she understands the game a little bit better. But, another anomaly, another rarity, right? But I think that as far as changing rules, we need marriage reform, we need divorce reform, we need child support reform, and that's not going to happen when women are the ones who are controlling the purse strings right now. I would love for that.
We can hope for it.
Hey, you know what? I'll be positive for you. I really hope that could happen. But the reality is that we live in a gynocentric social order, and I know that's a big word for some people. But what I mean is, I pointed this out again on PBD was that women control the economies of more nations now than ever before. If you look at who controls the EMF, the IMF, the World Bank, I don't think it's Janet Yellen anymore, but she's certainly the what is Janet? She's not the Fed chief. What is Janet Yellen? I can't remember.
I think George Gammon brought it up.
Yeah, you mentioned the Department of Treasury.
There it is. Treasury. Okay.
Yeah, George Gammon mentioned it.
There are more women that are in. There's a really great article, and it's on a website called Zero Hedge, and it's women control the wealth of the world right now.
Yep.
Okay, so when I said this at the Rebel Capitalists in Houston. When women rule, when women form societies, when women control the purse strings of major nations, what does that look like? What happens?
Communism.
And now we're seeing socialism, communitarianism, where how do we spend money? Women want to say, here's your wage gap thing, by the way. It's like, okay, here's the wage gap. Let's debunk that. Okay, while we're doing that, let's also take a look at who's the primary consumer in the United States.
Women.
Who is controlling 90% of the spending decisions in the American home?
Women.
A major, minor, who gets to decide where they're going to go on vacation? Women.
80% of the consumer base, women.
Men make money and women spend the money.
This can go back to the beginning of time. Y'all know the story, Adam and Eve. Adam was given life and given the forest. The Garden of Eden, right? And then Eve came along, right? Eve thought she knew better than everybody else. And she said, you know what? I'm going to listen to this damn snake telling me to eat this fruit.
Stupid.
When the fruit is going to kill you. Stupid. And she knew the rules from the very beginning. But she wanted to change the world. She wanted to be the one on top. And had to understand that she was making a better choice. So she ate the fruit, gave it to Adam. The world ended. As we know it, the Garden of Eden. It's being repeated in our history. When women ruled the world, end of the world, guys. It's the end of the world. So there you go.
Let me give you another Bible story here. Do you know? Okay, did you know?
We're such misogynists.
Do you know what Adam's first sin? Adam's first sin was not eating the apple. Adam's first sin was listening to his wife.
Bam!
It's there, scriptural. It's in Genesis. And God on in heaven above said, because you listened to your wife and ate of the fruit that I told you not to, then therefore you're cursed. Here's your punishment kind of thing. The first thing out of God's mouth, because you listened to your wife.
Damn. That's key. That's context, and that's key.
There's going to be a million biblical scholars and theologians are going to go, "Fuck that guy! That's not what it really meant." But I just work here. I just work here, man. I'm just reporting the news. I don't make the news.
Guys, the world's not getting better; it's getting worse.
Yeah, man.
Keep it a buck.
Yeah, man. So
wait, you know any from the Quran?
Bro, the whole Quran is like just basically like, oh, woman leader, woman in charge, women driving, women being hosts.
I need that one. I need that. I need that sound.
All right, that's all it is.
Really
Chat,
do.
and then we need genuine desire.
Genuine desire.
Do
Okay.
we cover everything with 80-20? So okay,
Pretty
so
much. I just, as far as 80-20 is concerned, I think the more important thing to get is like, women don't need men, but they want men, and the men that they want are clearly the top 20% of guys. When we start talking about like, why can't women find the right guy that they want to get with, right? Well, the reason for that is because they don't want to, and they feel like they don't have to get with any guy who's substandard, right? That 80% of guys, and those guys have to find an end run around the sexual filtering or make themselves more valuable in some way, whether that's get in the gym, make more money, make more, have more game, whatever it is, to get from the 80% into the 20%. It doesn't mean you're doomed. If you say, "Oh, I'm in the 80%, I'm never going to get out of this, bucket of crabs. I'll never get out of here." Yeah, with that attitude, you're certainly not going to. But you can get out of the 80% and get into the 20%, and there's ways you can do that.
So we discussed that. So now we know that women want that top 20%, right? It doesn't necessarily mean that only the 20% are banging 80%. So what about the actual D's and V's when it comes to, and I know we don't have as much conclusive data on that.
Well, that's why poly is such a big deal right now. That's why women, like, what is it? I think I'm going to quote Pook here once again, the inimitable Pook, which is women would rather share a successful alpha than be saddled with a faithful beta.
Facts.
And in 2022, they will go to great lengths never to be saddled with a faithful beta.
Facts.
Women hate beta males so much that they will go to 4 to 8 to sometimes 12 years of college to get and pay God knows how, Aaron Clary knows how much money to get those degrees, take out how many loans to get there, to make all of those personal sacrifices so they can work in a soul crushing job in HR because they so distrust men to be in control and to provide any kind of security, whether that's emotional, financial, or whatever. They are so against the idea of being forced to marry somebody who is substandard that they are willing to go and put up with all of that and like I said, go to college, go to get the job and everything else so they can avoid that. That's how intense it is right now.
True.
And it's only getting worse because they have this.
That's
because
a great
they
point.
have options and they
women
go
bust their asses.
They bust
to
their
not
asses
be stuck with
to
regular
not
guys.
get with guys. And so when GigaKaren is
True,
over
so true,
here,
bro.
when GigaKaren is over here and goes, "I guess I'll die alone." Yes, you will die alone because you've got this.
Yeah.
Because you turned yourself into the man that you want to marry. You turned yourself. I'm an alpha female. How come I can't find the right guy? Because you are the right guy. You're the right guy. That's why women marry themselves. That's why they marry chandeliers and bridges and dogs and I just my commitment ceremony to myself.
And
great.
dildos.
Yes. Congratulations, you are the man that you wanted to marry. And so when I say, well, how do I get out of this, Rollo? How do I find the right guy? How do I, I say, well, you need to get in touch with your inner feminine, right? We've been saying get in touch with your.
And they're like, what?
Yeah, and they don't. They what it sounds like to them, and I just put this as briefly as I can because I've talked about this before. Is that it sounds like I'm saying dumb yourself down to become more like if you're an alpha female and your ego and your personality is all invested in your achievements and your careerism and everything you've done up to and now you're 36 and you're like, I still can't find the right guy. When is the Lord going to put him on my doorstep? Right?
Nope.
Again, you're not seeing what you've made yourself.
Yeah.
What you're the product of really a blue pill for women, but a social order that has made you the man that you want to, the actual man you want to marry. And guys who are above you, who have more money than you, who are taller than you, have the 6-pack abs, the 6'6", that they don't have anything to do with you. And it's not,
You're
it's
them.
Not, you're not
them.
You're not a bad person. You're just them.
Yeah.
Yes. It's not
fucking myself.
It's not a personal worth thing. It's a sexual market value thing. And then they say, well, how do I get that guy? And I say, well, you need to be more feminine, be more nurturing. I can list all these feminine qualities. And to them, after a lifetime of building themselves up to what they are, it sounds like I'm saying, dumb yourself down.
Yeah.
If femininity, when I say become more feminine, I might as well be saying dumb yourself down. I have to be a dumb bimbo for these guys. Fuck that. I guess I'm gonna die alone. I guess you are.
You know,
that was probably one of the best rants. Somebody clip that because that is so fucking true, man. Holy shit, profound.
YouTube,
Tom,
Reddit,
get it.
Twitter,
Mark that.
Facebook, everywhere. I want to answer that real quick. So another part is that like they've built themselves up to be this alpha woman, so to speak. However, they don't want to take the responsibility. So you know what is the man I actually really want from me? And they want to change.
They won't change.
They won't change.
Refuse to change.
Yeah, but think about it, right? They want the guy so bad, but they're not wanting to change to give them what they want. And the problem is that like when you do that, now you're stuck with cat and dog food.
And not only that, they still get the sexual attention from the guy. So they think they're getting just that little
arousal.
bit. They're getting that little bit of attention from that guy. He's just fucking them. But they think, okay, he fucked me. I'm going to conflate that with relationship attraction. And bitch. He just wants to smash you.
And they will share that guy. They will share that guy.
That's good for us because we just play the game.
Yep.
Well, because those guys are so rare and so few and far between, and they don't want to have anything. They don't even want a beta, the 80%ers. They don't even want them to look at them because they'll criminalize it just for. And if you're out of your lane, I mean, they make the cartoons like if it's a hot guy, then it's not sexual harassment. If it's a dork, then it is, right? But what they've done, what a gynocentric society has essentially done is it has criminalized the 80%, and the 20% are now like either they should feel some sense of duty to marrying the very few, much fewer, 20% I should say, to get with these women. But the problem is there's only so many of them to go around, which is why you see stats like guys who are like 30% of guys and even higher depending on the age cohort are not having sex. But women are still having sex. Who are they having sex with? They're having sex with those apex alphas or that 20% of guys, and they're sharing them, whether that's implicit or explicit, it makes no difference. You're still sharing him in some way. So that guy gets everything. It's like the golden penis syndrome, which I keep hearing all the fucking time about these guys who have their shit together. They're high value men. They have a college education. They've got a lot of money. They've got a shit. And they say, oh, they're getting arrogant and they're so full of themselves. No, they're not. You just have to share that guy with a bunch of other bitches who don't want to have anything to do with the 80% of guys because you friend zone them or they're not what you want in a guy. You're sharing that golden penis with a lot of other girls that are right there with you. That's how you get poly. That's why poly seems like a good idea right now, because it's the default solution. Share that dude. I guess I'm going to die alone, but I can still fuck the golden penis.
Guys.
Damn, son, where'd you find this?
Now, I will say this, because we're in a unique position. You got the stats. We have the applicable, application because we're here in Miami. We deal with these women, whatever. So I think we're in a very good position to be able to speculate on this and give the audience kind of an idea. So I got to play a game. What percent of guys do you think are actually, we know women want the top 20 to 10% of men. That's a fact now at this point with the dating data that we have from dating sites. With Tinder is even worse. It's around 90%. And we know that almost 30% of guys are virgins and or sexually inactive. What percent of dudes do you think are actually out here smashing these chicks? You got the stats, Rollo. What do you think?
How many golden penises?
Off of the info that you got.
So basically, you're asking me how many golden. What's the percentage of? Because
you got so much information. What can we speculate on this? What do we think? Guys are actually like. What percent of guys are actually out fucking?
So you can never look at one data set without correlating it with others.
Yeah, of course.
I even said again another thing I said on PBD. So when you look at the decline in sex amongst men, and you compare, and I have this. I don't have the. Maybe I do. I have the stats where they correlate the rise in sexlessness amongst young men with the decline in college enrollment. And the years that the college enrollment goes down, the sexlessness goes up for guys. And so you have to look at those different data points there to sort of understand what the social dynamic
helps you come to a logical conclusion.
Yeah, well, to
some degree.
Okay, correlation is not causation.
Of course,
I got it. Let's clarify
for
that
all the
right
stat
now.
people out there.
However, as you know, I connect dots, and that's a really big dot to connect right there when you look at the decline. Now, is it because they didn't go to college? Probably not, but there's this disincentivization, I think, for men to either go to college or they don't see any point in going and doing it. And then why would I bother trying to like most guys when they say, oh, you guys are teaching men to be negative and they're just complaining and you're just bitter and everything else. It's like, it's not us. We're just pointing out what's going on here. Those guys were bitter and negative before ever hearing about me or you. They're just where that's their conditions, that's their circumstances right now. So I think that as far as like what's the percentage of golden penises that are out there? Well, remember, let's look at it on a whole. We talk about the 80%ers and we want to say, oh, those are the beta males. Those are the guys that women don't want to get with. And I'm using beta and alpha in abstract terms.
So they understand it does not mean that you're actually
constantly have to
it just means not desirable guys.
Oh, he said it unironically. No, I'm using it as an abstract because we can do that. We have critical thinking skills here.
Thank you, Rollo.
So when we have the 80%ers who are the stereotypical betas, then you have the top 20%. Are all of those guys golden penis guys? Probably not.
No, they're not.
But they're just attractive enough that women want to get with those guys. So maybe let's just say the guys
who play the game.
The guys who are 20, 19, 18 in the percentile, maybe they can play the game and women want to get with them, but it doesn't mean they're players. The real players, the guys who can leverage all of this to their advantage, I would say is a very much smaller percentage, probably around, I would almost say it's like probably 8%, 5%, 8%.
So I'll go a little bit deeper, right? So, we're applicably doing this in the real world. We're outside every day.
Yeah.
Clubs, networking events, in person, streets. And you can see guys with money, right? Yeah. They're all over the place here in Miami, especially in Miami.
Yeah.
However, a lot of these guys, they are not socially aware or adept to what game is or how to be around women. They made a lot of money from maybe crypto, a big bang. They got a lot of money. Or either from a job that they had, they dedicated their whole life to that job, but they never took the time to understand game and women. So they had the money, but they get finessed all day, going through.
Money doesn't make you alpha.
Exactly.
It's no insurance against it either, against getting rolled either.
It's actually worse because now you're going to lose a lot. That being said, when you look at other men that actually have game and actually know what they're doing, it's a very small number because those guys are literally out of the 20%, I would say maybe like 10 to like maybe 7%, that small margin there are actually getting the girls. And let me explain. So girls will see these guys with money and they'll say, okay, cool. Let me see what I can get out of this without having to give up my primary agent, which is sex. So they'll play the game, yeah, babe, I love you, da-da-da. And look at what they want. Shopping sprees, dinners, yachts, all that stuff, right?
They did not go to the FFFDF.
And there will be a guy in that setting, I see all the time, that has these things too, but doesn't have to put out as much as these other guys. And they'll get the girl rather than get it actually putting out the money. Now, here's the problem though, right? Can they maintain and keep these girls over time? They don't want to because they have so many options. And then the guys are not getting laid, they have to resort to either paying directly, because here's the problem,
so many guys do that.
They can try to go to them, but they can't really finish off the actual execution of smashing. So they'll be around these guys are on yachts, to dinner, to these events, but they don't smash the guys. Some of them resort to paying as a result, saying, you know what? Damn, they're around me, but I can't get them to like smash me, so I gotta pay.
Finish her.
And that would make it the 10%. So really, truly, I would say 7% that are actually getting laid, and the ones that pay make it 10%.
Some dude's gonna come up with like really hard data numbers. Oh, Rollo, it's really 4.5%.
Yeah, you guys are much more optimistic than me. I honestly think the guys that are actually out here,
1%.
The Tristan Tates, the Andrew Tates, the Justin Wallers, etc., the Chads, that are actually attractive. The girls like them, and everything else like that. I would argue it's less, bro. I would argue we're talking about the top 2 to 3% of guys are the ones that are banging the girls regularly.
That know enough to manipulate it and leverage it to their advantage.
Exactly, that are aware. So I would say it's even less, because there are guys that are getting laid, but let's be honest, a lot of these dudes, like you said before, are paying for box. I did not understand, bro. It is completely, especially here in Miami, but in general, in major cities, wherever, right? Because we see this in LA, in New York City, whatever it is. The more hypergamous the city, the more competitive it is, the more willing the men are willing to pay, because they have the money and the resources to do it.
Because they see it as a transaction, and they and in some instances, you have to remember that the guys who are paying for it, whether that's implicitly paying, like directly or indirectly paying for it,
yes, we got to talk about
they
them
view
indirectly.
sex as a transaction rather than valid. They don't think that a girl would ever want to like tear their clothes off just for the sake of fucking them, because it's this raw animal feral lust for that guy, and so their only concept, and this is for most guys, I should say, is that they don't see they don't see an intimate relationship with a woman on terms of she really wants to get with me rather than she just wants me for my money kind of thing. And when you have enough money, you kind of get to the point where it's like, you know what? I know women don't want to fuck me, but I have enough money that they want to fuck me because I have the money, and I'm good with that.
So many guys do that.
I'll add another point. So
a lot of rich guys think that way, Rollo. That's really.
And I'm not saying they're like hiring pros. I'm just saying that they don't marry or they stay away from like any kind of long-term relationships, but they're still getting sex, but they're getting sex because of the money, because they took them out on
so
a
many
yacht
guys in
party.
this building do that shit, bro.
Yeah.
I see dudes that I'm like,
That doesn't have to be.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be paying a hooker.
Now, just at this point as well, right? So I've been able to get on these guys from my networking events and all that stuff, and like I asked the question, bro, why do you, like how do you get girls? Oh, I just pay. I'm like, why do you pay? Like you're top percent guy, all these things going for you. He's like, oh, it's easier. I was like, why is it easier for you? Because I just show up, I pay them the money, and I'm out back to work. And for them, it's time as well. So they're saying, you know what? Okay, guess what? I can literally do all the game and all that shit, but I don't want to. I'm lazy. I'm just gonna pay it and get out. Now, is that a good way to go? Because no, it's not. Because you know, it's a dark hole you're going down. Because that dark hole literally is, you know what? No, it's transactional, and as a result, I can't respect women the same way I normally do. So it's a dark hole you go down, and it's like, yo, the respect for women is not even there. Now, there's another set of guys that like are also paying, but to them it's like, okay, I'm paying because I know deep down I don't have any value outside of money. So that's their way of getting the girl because, hey, you know what? Fuck it. I got the money, like you said earlier. Well, I'll just pay because, hey, I can't.
I think a lot of guys get to the point where they're okay with the transactional nature of it. They know that the girls, like, they're never going, like, in any other circumstance, they're not going to get with a girl who's like, you know, this hot little 25-year-old who really wants to
model.
Yeah, and the guy's like 64 years old. He's got a yacht and got a lot of money, and you know he's not going to get with a girl like that if he doesn't have that. And if he knows that and he's okay with that and he's buying that, to some guys, if the girl's a good actress, that's all that really matters to that guy, because he's only paying for that experience. He's not paying for like this actual intimacy to be with the girl that he's
right.
He just wants to bang her, right? Because it's just sort of like this physical need, and he's got the money to do it and the means, so that's what he's going to do. That's one extreme. The other extreme is like thinking that you need to cater your life to be this perfect husband or this perfect father for your kids, or you can couch that in religious terms. You can couch that in like your duty as your masculine duty and everything else. You're still thinking with the same transactional mindset that the guy with a lot of money is buying his hot 25-year-olds. You're just thinking of it that you're just convincing yourself that transaction is the right thing to do. It's the right way to go. If I'm not like paying lots of money for her, if I'm not buying her a house, if we can't go on vacation when we want to, if I don't have a good job, then she's not going to want to fuck me. Okay, that's still just as much a transaction as the more extreme example as well. What I try to keep talking about is genuine desire.
Oh, and that's perfect segue.
You like that segue? Gotcha, motherfucker. Gotcha.
All right, well, let's just do this real quick because they've been waiting.
Okay, intellectual leveraging is a great saying. I found that identifying women's good faith going into conversation really helps before you even waste your time engaging. Shouts from Texas. Thank you. $20 from Kay. Yo, Fresh, it's your boy from Chicago who you met at Vendome. We'll be back on the 25th, and we'll definitely cash in on the Patreon support and catch a show. We outside, up on top.
Shout out to Kayem. I met him at Vendome. He's a big supporter. He wants to come in the studio, so he's going to get a Patreon. Shout out to you, bro.
Man. First off, I respect all of you. Okay, so Rollo, I work as a male in the fashion modeling field. I disagree with after 2 a.m. No one is ugly. I have fashion models get touchy with me, and it gets uncomfortable. Thoughts from panel, please. You're an exception to the rule, my friend. Simple as that. You might be
They're not drinking enough.
Yeah, there you go. You're an exception to the rule, bro. Simple as that. I don't know. The other reason too why you're an exception to the rule is because you're constantly around beautiful women. I've been desensitized to women as well now, guys, because from doing this podcast versus when I was in college, now I'm around baddies all the time because of the show, etc. Bro, it's like I'm desensitized to them. That's what happens when you're around attractive women all the time. You start to see all the negatives of them versus seeing the positives.
Facts.
Okay. Yeah, Chris knows what I'm talking about as well. He deals with them every day.
The reason it's 2 a.m. is because usually that's last call, right? I mean, you shouldn't be drunk enough to let you. It doesn't matter what she looks like.
It's funny. Our level of girls went up when we gain a level of, I'm going to say, popularity. Yeah. And it's funny to see, like, how they act.
We still got more before, though.
Yeah, we got more before, but it's just to see how they act is like, bro, like, do you really want a 9 or a 10? You probably don't.
You don't, bro.
Trust me, yeah.
Shout out to y'all. Just told my girl she ain't going to no Miami girls trip, but she could kick rocks. So she does. She completely submitted and is no longer going, and now has let her friends down.
Damn
Absolutely,
it.
fuck yeah, my friend.
We wanted her to come, bro.
This is why she told me she wasn't coming.
Golf clap.
We wanted her here, bro.
Damn, we want her.
All right, cool. So, all right, we're gonna transition right now into what was it? Genuine burning desire.
Genuine burning desire.
Hold me to the cross.
Okay, here we go. Here we go. Now.
Oh, and like the video, guys, please, man. Goddamn it, we got 3,849 of you guys in here right now.
On a
We only
Saturday.
got 3K likes, guys. We're giving y'all a lot of heat. Like the fucking video.
We should be resting, having
Yep.
fun right now, but
Partying.
Saturday we're here for y'all guys, man.
Nah, that's all right.
All right,
We're doing good. We're doing the Lord's work.
Yeah, we are.
We enjoy it. But like the video.
So Fresh, it's time for me to psychoanalyze you.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
Here we go.
Shit.
Fresh, have you ever owned a woman's soul?
Oh my God. Shaolin monk.
Shao Kahn.
How do you own a woman's soul?
Well, first, you look inside her eyes and you look to see her temperature, and then you just take it.
No. The way to a woman's soul is through her uterus. Keep pushing, rearranging guts. That's how you find the soul. No, I was the reason I'm funny with you here is because that's one of the things that sort of got, I think, another thing where haters like sort of take things out of context, or they're misinformed to begin with.
Yeah.
Of course, the infamous time when you were here with Abba, and the preach was on live by remote, but he was giving you guys grief. It's all that bullshit that happened down in August. And it's funny that they picked that one to sort of go in on you on. And like when you said that, you said, I want to own a woman's soul. Okay, I understand what you meant. I got that because it's like I wouldn't use those words. Okay?
Yeah.
I would not use those words. I would say, okay, let's talk about genuine desire. You can't negotiate genuine desire. Let's talk about the difference between transactional sex and validational sex, which is really what the conversation that they wanted to have, and whether or not that girl respects you or she doesn't respect you. We talked about respect with Tommy Sotomayor and the rest of these guys last night, so I won't dig into that too much. But when you say you want to own that woman's soul, I have said on several occasions on the Pat Campbell show way back in 2018, God rest his soul. But several times where I said, you want a woman who is a ride or die girl. You want the girl who is the hell yes girl. Okay. Owning her soul. Okay, that sounds analogous to me, but it's funny. But to a guy who doesn't know what the fuck is going on, he doesn't know the vernacular of that.
True.
But what you are trying to express, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you will agree, is that when we talk about genuine desire, it is validational sex first and foremost. That's the girl who wants to fuck you for the sake of just fucking you. You're the hot guy in the foam cannon party, the hot guy at the club. You're the hot guy who is in the fireman's calendar or whatever it is. You're the guy that inspires genuine lust. Okay. So there are, believe it or not, children, there are women who are ride or die girls who actually consolidate on the alpha that would otherwise be their widow, the alpha widow, right?
Yeah.
And so they get with that guy, and that is the man who they want to have children with. They want to get with that guy. I didn't want to have kids. In fact, I have that. It's not the soccer player. It's is it Jake Gyllenhaal? I forget who it was, but it's Eva Mendes. And who is she married to? Who is Eva Mendes?
I'm gonna look it up right now.
Married to?
Chat knows.
That guy, that dude. I think it was Eva Mendes who said, like, I didn't want to have kids until I met. I think it was Jake Gyllenhaal. I'm not sure, but it's it is that's the guy that who convinced her.
Oh, it's Ryan Gosling.
Ryan Gosling. There it is. What is that? Jake Gyllenhaal. It was Brokeback Mountain. But so anyways, so Eva Mendes and Ryan Gosling, she said, I didn't want to have kids until I met Ryan Gosling, and I want to have his babies. That's what I'm talking about. That's own her soul. That's, I want to move across the country and crawl under barbed wire because I have such a hot on, hard on, wed on for you to get with you and have your babies. It's not, oh, my biological clock is ticking.
Right.
I'll just come in here. Get over here.
Yeah, you're convenient here. You make
come
enough,
over
but
here.
You're not
I think you'll do, right? It's not about like my life requires you to have me to have you in my life. It's I want to be with you. And that's the difference between like a girl who is like a hell yes girl, an own your soul girl, a writer, Bonnie and Clyde. Like I've seen people send me stories once in a while of some girl that's like so in love with their boyfriend that she'll try to break him out of the back of the patrol car after he gets arrested, probably like for beating her, right?
Yeah.
Try to drag him out, or she'll get in the car and he's still like tied up in the back, and she'll get the keys and take off in the patrol car. Like that's what I'm talking about. That's own your soul. That's own your soul. So it's a difference between like the most guys who hear that, it sounds ridiculous to them. It sounds ridiculous to a guy like Abba or Preach or whoever, because it sounds like something that is like, oh, that's those manosphere guys. They're just dorked, you know. But it's they don't understand the concept because they're still locked. They're 80%ers. They're still locked in the idea that they have to jump through all these hoops, pay for box, transactional sex. That's the only frame of reference that they have. So when you say something like that, and to your credit, by the way, Myron, when you guys were on Flagrant as well, when you stuck to you stuck to your guns, like this is what we're about, you know, this is what we talk about. And they were trying to attack you guys on terms of like morality and ethics, and this is the way the is ought argument again. And you guys were, that was the one time I've seen you like as bulletproof as I've ever seen. Well, really both of you, but you were like just bold and in your face about that. Like, this is just how we are. This is just how it is, right? And these guys had they couldn't react to it. No frame of mind, no concept of how are they possibly saying this, because they're coming from a different world and you're in another world. They're in the world of transactional sex. Akash is definitely in the world of transactional sex because he's only with the one girl who is gonna, if he wasn't Akash, if he didn't have the money, if he wasn't a comedian, you know how tough it is for Indian guys to get with Indian girls today? He is I hate to say this too, but he is like an anomaly.
Yeah. He's an anomaly,
and so it's in his best interest that he stays in that mindset, and the rest of the guys too. Right. You guys come in there and you say, you need to own her soul. then they don't understand.
They don't even understand
you're speaking Swahili, man.
Yeah.
They don't understand what the hell you're talking about. And it's offensive to them for us to say, well, you can't negotiate genuine desire, when in their entire life and who they are as people, like the life that they built, their achievements, is the result of trying to negotiate genuine desire since the time they were kids. Because if I don't get a good job, if I'm not a celebrity, if I'm not a comedian, if I don't have a lot of money, then I won't get the girl. It's not about like, this is what I have a passion for. This is about, well, if I'm not this person, then I'm not going to get that chick. And so it's the transactional nature. He doesn't have to be the guy on the yacht with the 25-year-old girl. It could be guys who are just, average Delta males in, coding jobs. So when we talk about genuine desire, you can't negotiate genuine desire, and you're always looking for the girl who will change her religion because she wants to have babies with you so bad. She wants to leave her tribe, her family, because she is so into you and it is so right for her. And it's what I think Nick Krauser called it, deep conversion. This is a part that's going to be in book 5, by the way. It's this conversion of like, she is so into you that you answer the hypergamous question. The hypergamous doubt is this: is he the best I can do? And for the guy that consistently answers that, yes, 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 that's when you get, I owned her soul. Right? They'll never figure that out because they will never own a woman's soul.
Bam. You know what's funny? So I think
very well fucking said.
No, I'm Lucifer Bloody Morning Star.
I should have had Rollo speak for me that day.
I gotta give it down to Marco. Yeah, you should have had him saying for you.
By the way, Rollo is right.
From an India girl, Rollo is right. Akash is not desirable to
Oh God. Oh God. So
shout out to Karan.
I think a guy with experience, right? That's dealt with multiple women can kind of concisely see if that desire is there. A guy that hasn't had that experience can't really detect or even know if it was there from the beginning. However, when I said, okay, I can own her soul, obviously I'm joking, of course, but it means that like, okay, I've passed certain tests for her that proves that, okay, I'm the guy that she'll break rules for, like you said. And what happens is that like, when you can see that and experience that, it may be even a woman that hated the show, a woman that never saw you as that viable option. She saw you for a little bit, saw your personality. You gave her some good D, and probably best she ever had in her life. She's like, wow, this guy rocked my world. I want to be with him. I want to see what he's about. And just having that passion there, most guys don't experience that.
Yes, ever. Yes. And the only way you get to experience that, or the only way you're ever going to really fully understand that, is if you have options.
Yes.
If you have my rock star 20s, right? But it's, if you have, that's why I keep saying spin plates. Never consider monogamy until you get to be at least 30 years old, because men don't become men till they're 30 anyways. You don't get your shit together and understand where you want to go in life as it is. You don't mature up to that point. But I didn't say don't spin plates, don't have sex. I'm just saying you need to experience many women at that time. So
I would
that
argue
you can
spin plates in today's day and age.
So that you can find, you go, you know what? I mean, there's I've seen some women here in Brickell that are just works of art, man. And there's this
Brickell. I like that.
Brickell. I'm sorry, I know. Nevada. Okay, but that are just absolute works of art.
Yeah,
you know. And I'm just like, you know, and I have had those experiences, and my wife being one of them. Like, it's this instant chemical attraction.
And you know,
yeah, exactly. It's like. It's not like you experience enough women that you go, okay, I know it's on. And now, but when you first experience it, real validational, like, you know, own your soul sex or own your soul arousal and attraction to that person. When you first experience that, you're kind of blindsided. You're like, oh my gosh, what just happened? You know, like I'm in love, you know? But once you get past that and you go and you have experienced other women, you'll understand. You go, okay, now I see where I'm at with this girl, this new girl. I've had, you know, my notch count is like 40. Okay, here's number 41. This girl is special compared to all the girls that I've had these experiences with. And I know what I want. I know what she's about. And this looks like it's going to work.
And you know, it's funny. At that point, you can ultimately choose a long-term partner, because if you try to do it before without this process,
that's the point.
You would definitely make a wrong choice because you don't know. But after this experience with multiple girls, okay, this one chick here, she has that genuine burning desire, and I can probably test her now and see where it can go, versus, oh, she looks good, I'm gonna get with her. Big fail there. And look, this is from my experience, because definitely, you know, we've all failed here at some point. We're not perfect, but going through that process, you get to learn who and what you really want, and as a result, you can choose a partner long term.
You'll be able to determine the difference between validational sex and transactional sex if you have more partners.
And this is why this is
very important.
And this is why, right? Because, for example, sugar sites, right? Obviously, the stigma is, oh, they can never ever bond with somebody because they're sugar babies. The problem is that, like, when you go through that process, yes, obviously a lot of them are gonna be on that type of time.
Yeah.
But when they meet you and you don't pay, you don't show these traits like other men, it's like, whoa, what's up with the guy? He's different. And as a result, sometimes they may say, damn, this guy is different in ways that I never thought possible. I'm going to give him a shot to see what happens.
If you look at judo, right? So, because a lot of people talk shit about us with using sugar sites or whatever.
Yeah.
Judo is basically using your opponent's own momentum against them to throw them onto the floor, right? You like that analogy, motherfuckers? Right? So, when you get on a sugar site, what you're effectively doing is the girl's coming in trying to punch you. This punch is, buy me a bag, nigga. Woo! And you're like, oh shit.
And you're like,
and then you know what I'm saying? Oh, and then the next punch is like, hey, take me shopping, asshole. Woo! And then you block that shit too, right? And then the next one is she gonna try to kick you or some shit like, okay, I need you to fucking take me to Gucci. Oh, and then that's when you grab that fucking leg, use her momentum against her, and then you throw her onto the fucking ground. Not literally, because I know some of y'all niggas gonna be like, oh, really? I'm saying punch bitches and throw them around. Yeah, exactly. Don't do that. But you're using their own momentum. You're using their hypergamy against them. They're throwing the punch. You're taking it. You're flipping them on their fucking back and letting them know, hey, I'm not on that type of time. You're not going to be able to punch me. And the fact that she's on the ground looking up at you, she's going to say, all right, he gets it. This guy's attractive. And then she's going to get up and want to fuck with you and spar from a respectful point, because here's the thing. Now she knows she can't play these fucking games with you. But if you sit there and you buy her shit or whatever, you're effectively getting punched in the face, and she's going to keep punching you in the face. But when you use that judo and you flip her on her side, you use that hypergamy against her, aka her momentum against her, and show, I'm attractive, I have the lifestyle you want, but you ain't going to just get it, bitch, for being a woman. That's when she respects you, and then from there, bam, the foundation can be built. That's how you use sugar sites to your advantage, guys. It gives you the opportunity to play the fucking game. We talked about this in detail with Andrew Tate. Tate uses the status and his money to play the game, but he doesn't necessarily use the status and give them the status and the money unless they earn it. Sorry, Rollo. Go ahead.
I just want to
write that down, assholes.
Let me just while we're here at the end here, I want to dispel one more red pill myth, because again, 90% of the hate that you get is going to be from misinformation. One of those misinformations is those red pill guys just want you to spin plates and bang women indefinitely and just, like, you know, never get married and who cares. But men really want to get with a woman and they want to find someone special and settle down and have kids. And I 100% agree with that. And had you read this book right here, had you actually read that book, you would fucking know that. Okay. There are 6 chapters, or 6 as a 6-part series in this book. It is called Plate Plate theory. Thank you, Vanna. But it's a 6-part series that's in the book, and it is called Plate Theory. The last chapter of Plate Theory, this chapter 6, is transitioning from spinning plates, dating non-exclusively, into monogamy, into something that is a little more concrete. Okay, it is not just PUA, whatever, take game for whatever you want it to be. But as far as a red pill is concerned, it's not just about banging anything on 2 legs. That's not what it's about. It's not about, your ego and your self-worth is measured by what your notch count is. That's not what it's about. It's about understanding women's nature, your own nature, experiencing many. Some guys, they say, that's why I wrote religion. There's guys who say, well, I love all the stuff that's in this book. How do I apply it? I'm a Muslim. I'm a Christian, and I don't believe in premarital sex. I said in that book, I said, it is even more incumbent upon you to know red pill, be red pill aware, because you have more writing on it. You have less, margin for error if you don't know this stuff. So it doesn't mean that I still think that guys who don't believe in premarital sex, they still need to spin plates. They're not fucking those plates, but they have multiple options so that they can get an idea of Sally's better than Jenny over here, whatever it is. So
the goal is to erase scarcity mindset.
Exactly.
Whether it's through smashing them or dating them, the goal is to always smash the scarcity mindset, which so many guys have. The dude that super chatted earlier, I'm with this girl and she did all this fuck shit. Should I stick with her? You got a scarcity mindset.
So it's not about I've never said this. Oh, you just have to spin plates forever. That's not what I'm saying. In fact, I'm 100% against that, because I have been trying to say, we need marriage reform. We need some kind of long-term commitment of some kind so that we can form families. Otherwise, we're not going to that's the core of society. That's the core of the
human
certainly
beings,
West,
family. Nuclear family,
parental investment, right? So I'm, when people say, well, what about, lowering fertility rates and below replacement levels and stuff like that, I'm like, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's why I say you don't have to keep spinning plates indefinitely. Hopefully you're going to get to a point where you go, I'm going to transition out of that into something that I make a good, educated decision to get with this one girl, whether that's just long-term relationships or that's a marriage or however you define that. That's up to you at this stage until we can figure out what our best practice is. How do we mitigate that risk? But I'm not against men and women coming together, because I said we're better together than we are apart. And at some point, you have to stop spinning plates and you have to become better together than you are apart.
Okay, I want to add to that real quick, because there's nothing new under the sun, right?
Yeah.
As the Bible says. And it's funny because, yes, there is a time and place for spinning plates. It's meaningful, 100%. But I've come to realize, just from doing this activity and other things as well, that the most, I want to say, fulfilling thing I've felt so far in terms of being a man is sharing my experiences that I've gained through hard work and toil and becoming a better man with someone I actually care about and they care about me. That interaction right there of having one girl that I've vetted. No.
My bad. My finger slipped, bro. My finger slipped. Sorry, bro.
That I vetted and has that genuine burning desire for me does give me a sense of fulfillment in terms of, okay, cool. I've gone through the process. I've seen for the streets, not for the streets. Cool. I've been able to pinpoint on some level a possible partner in the future for my family. Mm-hmm. And that by itself, bro, is winning, because most guys can't do that. They don't know where to start. They don't know how to end it. And as a result, spinning plates is a process. 100% you have to do it. However, on some level, if you can transition to having one girl that you actually marry, or not marry in terms of marry through the court, but for yourself, you and her.
That's a partner that isn't going to destroy you.
Exactly.
Through the state.
You being aware, you can avoid heartache, divorce, child support, all this stuff, because you found the right woman that actually can say, you know what, genuinely, I'm considerate. I care about this guy wholeheartedly.
You know what? Let me get. Okay, I'm going to give some advice to women on this show.
Oh shit,
right
let's
now.
do
Okay,
it.
so here's
for all three of them that are watching, and we just hit 4,000 live viewers, guys.
Like the video, man.
Like the video. There's only 3.4K of you guys watching that like the video. Like the goddamn video right now, man. Help us hit 100% engagement. Like the video. Rollo's putting on a fucking clinic. I'm over here using judo references. Fresh isn't stuttering. We're on fire tonight.
Yeah.
All right? Chris isn't randomly interjecting. Yeah. Like the goddamn video, bro.
Oh. Okay, so here's some advice for women. And it kind of dovetails into what you're talking about, is women don't understand the sacrifices that men have to make to facilitate their reality. Another quote from a first book here. And I think that ladies, when you're with a guy And he's a good guy. He's high value. He's the guy that other men want to be and other women want to fuck. He's that guy, and you have genuine desire for him. He's the guy whose babies you want to have. If you have that guy in your life, understand this. For him to commit to you is a high risk, high stake decision for him to do. And you need to appreciate that. Because women have this entitled sort of hubristic understanding of like, well, I'm entitled, he should. We're doing the right thing because he's obviously, answers the hypergamous question. Is he the best I can do? Sure. Okay. But if he's going to commit to you, especially in Western countries, if he's going to go and put his name on a marriage contract or put his name on a mortgage or do all this kind of other stuff with you, he's making those like really life decisions. You have to know the inherent risk that he's taking by doing those things, because as I said before, marriage is a home you build on land that you do not own. You own the land, ladies. Appreciate that fact that he's taking that risk.
They never do.
To try to put a home and try to put most women don't.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to say, if you want to be more feminine, how do I find the right guy? How do I show him I appreciate him? Okay. The first part of appreciating him is understanding the inherent high stake risks that guy has to say, you know what? I've had all these bitches before. They're pretty good. That was fun, but I'm I'm ride or die with you. You want to have my babies. I want to stick it with you. I'm going to, I'm going to be parentally invested. I'm going to protect you. I'm going to provide for you. I'm going to stay in shape for you. I'm going to make money for you. I'm going to do all these things. All of those criteria that you have. If he's all about that, you can't just go, yeah, well, that's what he's supposed to do. Fuck him. That's not appreciation.
Yeah.
You need to appreciate that guy. And however you go about doing that, I don't know like how you express that, what the behavior is, but I do know where it starts. It starts here and acknowledging the fact that he's making all this risk just for you. And he doesn't have to do that.
Take it a step further.
He doesn't have to do that.
I'll say this right now.
Men do not owe you a better life.
Bam.
They don't owe you a better life. But when they say, you know what, I'm going to make your life better, or even just through their actions are making life better, the least you can do is appreciate them and acknowledge and appreciate that.
I'll take it a step further. It used to be women took all the biological risk when they had sex with men and got in relationships with men because they were dealing with the kids and a guy can leave. Mm-hmm. Now it's flipped. The man takes all the risk because the man is held to a standard by the state should he try to have sex with a woman and run. Yep. However, the women can now, not only do they have the ability to get abortions, birth control, etc., women virtually get no risk nowadays if they're not stupid and they decide and they're pro-choice because you can have sex with the man, still get the commitment from him, but he can't run from you. And if he does run from you, he's punished. So I argue in today's day and age, even though women are biologically set up to say, hey, I need security because I take more inherent risk because of my biology, modern conveniences have now made it where now the man takes more risk when he commits to you than the woman does, because women have modern day conventions and technology that allows them to have unilateral control over the birthing process.
And it's one thing for that guy to be a high value man and be completely ignorant of everything you just said, like they're ignorant of the risks that he's taking.
Yeah, a lot of guys
and
don't
then
know.
It's another thing, and probably the guy that women admire and look up to, the guy who is high value and he's the threat, right? He knows his own high value, and that's actually a turn on for most women, right? But he understands his own high value, and he's still going to commit. He's still going to take those risks with you because that's you're a ride or die girl, and he's a ride or die guy. Women will never fully appreciate, like I said, the risks and the sacrifices that men have to make to facilitate that woman's reality. And that goes back to part in my fourth book where I talk about the coverture laws. And back in the late 1800s, maybe it was even before that, maybe early 1800s or even prior to that, but coverture laws were is that if a woman, despite what most feminists will tell you, women could actually own land and they could own money back then. They just couldn't own it and be married, because the coverture laws stated that if that woman had, like, say, inherited a business or inherited land or inherited money of some sorts, that all of those assets transfers over to the control of her husband. And people go, oh, that's sexist and that's horrible. No, it's meant to protect the man, the husband in this, because if that woman had all that and she had responsibility over that and she made bad decisions, or there was like she got into debt or she went into bankruptcy or whatever else, made bad decisions, it wasn't her who was responsible. It was the husband who was responsible, because that's how marriage worked back then. The man was responsible for the woman. Not
that's
unlike
why women didn't want to vote too. People don't want to talk about that.
Not unlike what Tommy Sotomayor was talking about how, you know, women are like children, right? Well, that's kind of how they thought of them once women came into a marriage at that time. Right. And again, there's no birth control, there's no sexual revolution back in those days. And so those were what were called the coverture laws. So really what they boil down to is a woman had more power over her own life, more direct, you know, direction over her own life, could control her own life more thoroughly, and had more options, more maneuverability, whatever, outside of marriage than she did inside of marriage. And in book number 4 here,
which I went to go get for you guys,
I argued this. Men are now they have more power over their lives outside of marriage than they do inside of marriage. So it's almost a reversal of the coverture laws, because as soon as that man gets into a relationship into a marriage contract with that woman, all of the rights and all of everything defers to that woman. So when she wants to break up with her, she's going to take half of his stuff. Both of them are now responsible for community debt. Then you got the child support. You've got there's a lot of things that go along with that when that marriage dissolves. And so what happens is that creates a state inside of that marriage where that woman is now the head of the household and the man is the child in that. It's in the eyes of the state anyways. Yeah, I know. Because again, building a house on borrowed land or on land that you don't own. She owns the land, so it's almost like as if a lot of guys. I think the main reason why marriage rates are so low today is because a lot of guys see this. They see it online, on social media, everywhere else today. They see high profile divorces. They see Mackenzie Bezos and Jeff Bezos, and they see all this stuff that's going on. So true. And I mean, and when we look, I mentioned this on PBD podcast. Dr. Dre. I mentioned this on PBD podcast is that if you go and you look at the 10 richest women on, I think it's Forbes or it's Morgan Stanley, 10 richest women in the world, every last one of them got it through divorce or they got it through inheritance. They didn't build it themselves. They didn't, not from the ground up. They took it from a man, or it was a resource transfer from a man. And people will say, well, Mackenzie Bezos, she helped build Amazon. I go, yeah, but if she had cashed out all of her assets and all of her holdings from within Amazon, and said, okay, I'm out, thanks a lot, she would not be walking away with $33 billion.
Facts.
She walked away with $33 billion from Jeff Bezos because that's how the divorce worked.
Bro, she wouldn't even walked away with probably $10 million, bro.
If they divested that company and she took all of the assets out of that, she wouldn't still not be worth $33 billion.
Fuck out of here,
so
man.
it's as a result, and that's the thing, is that people want to distract you from like divorce laws as a result of this.
Yeah.
But long story short, men have more maneuverability and more power over their lives outside of marriage than they do inside of marriage. Most guys realize that. That's why the marriage rates are in the shitter right now. And so how do we fix that? Well, we've got to have some kind of marriage reform that goes along with that. But until then, ladies, if you've got a guy who is a high value guy, and he understands this, and he knows his own value, and you know his value, and he's the guy that other men want to be and other women want to bang, and then he's the guy who says, you know what? I know I will be losing all this power by getting into a relationship with you, but you're still worth it. And I'm still going to do it. You better fucking appreciate that. You better at least acknowledge that he's taking all this risk and making all of this sacrifice to facilitate a life with you. Women marry a lifestyle. They do not marry the man.
Facts. I would say, I don't think,
clip that and give that to your fucking daughters.
Tom, mark that.
I don't think most Western women could actually appreciate, but go to Colombia, guys.
I know I'm asking a lot. I know I'm asking a lot.
Yeah, over there. So yeah, I'm not advocating marriage. I'm just saying if you can find a one that is ride or die, hey man, she could join the team and make it work.
Black lemur, fornication wasn't an option for me religiously. Fair enough. Yeah, guys, this podcast has been so much fucking heat.
Gems, man.
So much gems. It's like crazy, bro. And yo, here's the thing. You guys aren't going to get content like this anywhere else, man. We live in a crazy woke world now where if you say this shit, you get hit with
tomorrow morning, there'll be haters
are
going, he just said they want to fuck anything on two legs? What?
How dare him?
How dare he?
Bro. So,
yeah, that's all negative and complaining.
Shout out to Dollface in the house right here, man. She was on the panel yesterday, man. She said that was beautifully said. Okay. She was on the panel yesterday.
Yes, I'm an artist.
She's been learning.
Yeah, she's been learning, bro. She peeping game. Shout out to her. Your average guy, $20. My girlfriend just broke up with me this past Monday, and now I'm feeling all this RP rage. How do I handle this anger even though I'm going to the gym?
Find a new girl.
Fuck someone else.
Get in the gym
And do a
work it
story
out.
post.
Work it out. Get in.
No, it's sex.
Don't start a podcast. Yeah.
On a date.
The first thing Chris said that was crazy.
No, but I'm right though, right?
There's no girls here, so there's no pervert comments to be said. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead. Rollo.
No, really.
Go
Go to the gym. Get it out of your system. Go listen to like Swedish death metal or something. Like really, just rage for a little while. But I mean, your discontent. Deal with discontent constructively, not destructively.
Bam.
Get to the point where you're like, okay, I'm good now, and then start like rebuilding and start like understanding. Because you're at a point of crisis and a point of trauma. Actually, that's kind of a gift at this point.
Yeah, if you can harness the energy and put it into your work,
Exactly.
your passion, your purpose, even in the gym, and you hone that, bro, you're gonna come up way better.
You got to
better chicks.
You're gonna need. There's gonna be a time of what I call detox as well. You have to detox from that girl, and that's actually a biochemical thing, right? When we are like in love and we're infatuated, we have this constant like dopamine hit, and we have these endorphin hits. We associate with that person. Most guys, when they break up with a girl, what's the first thing they do? They start drinking. They start doing drugs and everything because they're trying to. It's what's called an extinction burst. They're trying to novel behavior to re-stimulate the feelings that they were getting, like chemical feelings that they were getting from when they were banging the girl and they were infatuated and everything else. And now they're trying to like find some sort of substitute for that. And you'll get through that. If you're going to detox, do it in healthy ways. Like go to the gym, listen to Swedish death metal, whatever your music is, right? Like those, because when you listen to music, by the way, it stimulates your dopamine system or your endorphins when you're listening. You guys rock out too. We all get down differently, but get down, and then that's a positive way to stimulate the good chemicals.
Damn. Right. And yeah, bro, just remember this about that chick.
Now fuck that bitch. Fuck that bitch. Fuck that bitch. Fuck that bitch.
Yeah. All right. Okay. So
See, it doesn't have to be Swedish death.
LT, for clarity, what do you call being what do you call being able to recognize a woman's basic level of interest, i.e., a smile, catch her staring, etc. Part 2. If this radar is off, could ignoring it lead a high value man to think pay for play is cool?
Yeah, I think it's probably the better answer is I'm putting that in the book. I talk about levels of interest and IOIs, which is indicators of interest in the book. That's actually part of old school PUA, but it's understanding game and why IOIs work. And what is an IOI? It's an indicator of interest. It's holding holding the eye contact for a beat longer than normal. Yeah, baby. But there's other ones. Obviously, that's the most stupidly obvious one. But I'm playing with my hair.
Making noise around you.
There's a lot.
Loud,
You standing closer
proximity.
to you, body positioning. Too,
I think
angling
a girl
and stuff.
canceling plans just for you is another big one.
Oh yeah.
Even just like, for example, Saturday night with friends
Owners
coming out with you instead.
How do you know you're undersold? She canceled her plans. She's late for work for you.
Yeah, pretty much.
LT, $20 for clarity. What do you call being?
That's that one.
Oh, that's the one we read.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
right.
Rollo, where can they find you, man?
You can find me at therationalmale.com. That's my blog. You can also find me on YouTube, which is The Rational Male, my channel, which you showed here just a little while ago. I've got a clips channel. I am rapidly approaching the end of book 5 right now. It is with Amazon and I'm waiting approval on them. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully it'll be okay, with no delays, but I would expect certainly by the end of this month, but it's out out of my hands right now. And then let's see, what else do I have going on? I am doing a lot of work with Robert Kiyosaki and George Gammon at Rebel Capitalist. That'll be in June, by the way, just so you guys know.
Here in Miami?
My next scheduled event
We'll be there.
in Miami, although I probably might get called back from PBD again.
Shout out Robert.
Yeah. And so, what else am I doing? I think it's a bit. Oh, and then if you follow my band, Trial of Ascension, we just rearranged the studio and we're going to start doing live streams. I know you guys, you have
nice.
Fed It and you have your thing right now. I've got Trial of Ascension. So I'm going to start doing live streaming rehearsal stuff because people have been asking me, hey, Rollo, why don't you play guitar for us? And why don't you have like the Rational guitar or something? I'm like, I got a better idea. How about we just put cameras in the rehearsal studio? Because I pay a lot of money for this damn the studio. So I think we're going to start doing live streams.
That's dope.
For shits
Hey,
and
don't worry. If
giggles
you want
and
me to bring
stuff.
girls, I can never bring girls to the studio.
There we go.
Remember we spoke a while back when you first came. I spoke about having a personality outside of the
Yes.
show.
Oh man.
And people want that,
Good
man.
point. Yes.
They want to see it. So
Yeah.
why not?
Exactly. And so, yeah, exactly. They want to know that you're still human. You're not all brand, right? So, and you can find that at, you can follow us on Instagram. We are Trial of Ascension Band on Instagram. And we're also on, Facebook. And they're also on Twitter. It's just Trial of Ascension Band.
Irrational guitar. People are dying.
There you go.
And guys, do me a quick favor, man. 3.8K, you guys in here. 200 more likes. Get us to 3.8 so that we can be 100% engagement. And
Actually,
guys,
before you leave, we are literally 300 subs away from hitting 580K.
Come on.
So
Oh,
guys,
shit.
If you're not subbed to the channel, guys, sub to the channel. Support us, man. We've been through a lot, man. We're still going up to 1 mil. But hey, sub to the channel, man.
yeah, they
Free.
spam reported us, guys.
Oh, you know what? I'll give you another announcement so we can hold out for the rest of those guys.
Like the video.
I'm also working with Kevin Savo right now.
Okay.
Kevin, like as you know, works. He's
Filmmaker.
I really got to get Kevin in here next time we're here. But Kevin's he's responsible for Thought Mommies in the Club.
Yep.
Okay. So which a great video. I kind of went viral when it first came out. Whenever I talk about gonna need a babysitter, that's where that's from. But Kevin and his brother Rocky, they're always doing new projects and everything. And one of the things we're getting into is doing NFTs right now. So we've got an NFT project that's going to be coming up. I think we're going to go live with it within the next week. So look for that on my channel. I'll talk more about it later, but we're getting into like collectible NFTs. And again, the money that goes into that kind of stuff goes back into Red Pill projects. That's another thing I want to leave you guys with is these guys don't pay me to come on this show, and like as far as money is concerned and everything, maybe they'll pay for a flight or like a hotel room or something like that. But as far like people always
Flew Rollo out.
They always want, exactly. They always want to accuse me of being, he's biased with those guys because he's getting money from them or he's like got some sort of personal investment. No, I don't. In fact, a lot of times I spend a lot of money to come out here just to do this show because these are my friends, and I've always been interested in developing and helping red guys who are on board and stay on point and are red pill projects for me. Okay.
Actually, Rollo, you gotta be real here. You do have vested interest in Hero.
My dog. Heroes. I have custody rights of Hero. Yeah, it's my weekend with Hero.
Take it, bro. Fuck Hero.
But but Kevin is one of those guys that people say, well, I'm not like Scrooge McDuck sitting on top of my big pile of red pill gold, going, give me more. All I do is sell books. No, what I do is I take that money and I put that into proteges. I put that into other projects that I think are just absolutely amazing, and I think that they are promoting the red pill message. And Kevin happens to be one of those. You guys happen to be one of those, and that's just what I do.
Together, man.
I don't have Lamborghinis. I have expensive guitars, but I don't have Lamborghinis and I don't have yachts or anything. But what I do is I take my money and I put it back into it and I repurpose it because that's what I think is when I die, that's what I want to be remembered for, not a yacht.
Bam. Guys, he is the author of the Rational Male book series, man. Get the books, man. I listen to them on Audible. I recommend them at least fucking 2-3 times a week, man.
Yep.
So, yeah, man. Support Rollo, guys. Subscribe to his YouTube channel. And we will catch you guys on Monday, Money Monday.
We got Kevo?
I think we got Bandman Kevo coming in, and we're also going to talk about NFTs, actually, surprisingly so. So, guys, check out Rollo Tomassi. Get the books, The Rational Male, and then Rational Male, last one that he has, which is book 4. Subscribe to his YouTube channel, The Rational Male and Rational Male Clips. Good friend of ours, man. Rollo, thank you so much for covering so many things today. Today's episode was fucking awesome.
Yeah, fuego.
Yeah, man. Bruce!
All info.